Well, who would have thought this day would ever come? Richard Buckley hosting an EA Sports event. You are live for the Richard Buckley, the EA Sports Cup here on week 6. It's Group D action today. 3 teams will go out, 2 will go through. Let's get into the action.
2 spots in the knockouts have been claimed and another 2 are up for grabs tonight. In Group D, FOKUS have already secured 10 points and have looked completely dominant. Elsewhere, football giants AFC AJAX and PHzin are neck and neck, but Man City are also looking to make a run and find their form. And despite a slow start, Team HERETICS, led by Matthias Bonanno, remain in striking distance of qualification. It's all shaping up to be another Cage United FIFA here at the EA Sports Cup.
Hello, and welcome to the EA Sports Cup. My name is Richard Buckley, joined by Mike LaBelle, Brandon Smith on the floor. What a day we have got here. It's Group D action. I'm in the hosting position. Everything just feels a little bit weird. Anything could happen this evening. I'll let you know as the show goes on. Mike, I want to talk about Group D because we've got one front runner who we'll get into. We'll talk about the logistics, and then we've got a scrap for second. Is it as simple as that, or could more things happen?
I feel like nothing's that simple when we're dealing with FIFA Esports, but if FOKUS can replicate their form that we saw a few weeks back, you got to say that they've got at least the top 2 secured.
Brandon, towards the bottom end of the table, it's going to be a scrap, it's going to be feisty. What do we expect?
There's a lot of stories to unfold at the bottom of the table because 2 teams didn't pick up a single win 4 weeks ago. Also, if you like football, PHzin, Man City and Ajax are also in this group, all fighting for qualification today.
Well, we can have a look at the official standings coming into play today. FOKUS, as Mike LaBelle said, top of the tree. 10 points out of 12, only dropping 1 win. And even in your words, Mike, they should have won that game as well.
They're still undefeated. They got a massive goal difference, but they were unlucky to hit the post a few times in that affair against HERETICS.
And Brandon, towards the bottom of the table, City, HERETICS, PHzin, Ajax, 3 points, 1 win, separate 4 teams.
Yeah, their first game today, Richard, is going to be huge. HERETICS, team of the season cup winners, somehow did not pick up a single win last week. And do you know what that was? They just didn't score goals, Richard, in the nicest way possible. Man City, we've got all to do here today as well.
They certainly do, and not only is it going to be about the fundamental skills on action, but about the nerves and about keeping your composure. This is in the backstage area, probably an hour and 30, 2 hours ago. All smiles so far, Mike.
This is all falsified energy.
Okay,
I don't want any of this on display right now. We know once they get into the pit, it's all business. There's back and forth, a lot of pauses being cued, controllers could get thrown. I'm here for all the drama.
What stays in the pit? What happens in the pit stays in the pit, shall we just say. Brandon, you talk about that team on your screen right there, Manchester City. They've got a big task ahead of them. How important is that first game, do you think, in their running?
It's massive. It's a must-win for them and HERETICS. As I've said, they have to win that first opening game. There was moments last week that they were 2-0 up against Ajax. They threw that away. Today, that just cannot happen.
We can see the run of play for today. 5 rounds of fixtures, all teams playing 4 particular matches. Looking at that round 1, PHzin Esports versus Team HERETICS. On the flip side of it, Ajax against City. I'll take one of you for each game. Brandon, I'll start with you. PHzin against Team HERETICS. What do we expect from that game?
I mean, you expect HERETICS to come with a completely different game plan than they did 4 weeks ago. They have to be attacking, they have to be goal scoring. For the side of PHzin, back in the mix this year in FIFA Esports, they're a huge football club and they've had rich history in FIFA Esports, dating back to FIFA 17-18. They've got a new roster, but maybe they could be the team that takes that second spot.
On the other side of it, footballing loyalty, footballing royalty, Man City, Ajax, must-win game for both sides?
Well, I don't have loyalty to either side, completely unbiased, but for a fan of the sport or the e-sport, I'd love to see City get off to a good start. Maybe start some momentum, shift it around. It gets kind of
I want to stay with you, Mike, because you know me, maybe not as well as Brandon, but as well as a lot of other people.
Okay.
You know my love for one particular player, Matthias Bonanno. Talk to me about Team HERETICS. We heard from Brandon. I want to hear from you. What do we need to see? What improvements do we need to see?
Well, they have to score goals. I mean, the improvement's very simple. If you're unaware, Team HERETICS came into this. Before the games got underway, they're easily the favorite. World champs, 2 players that have worked together, collaborated. They're still back at it, but they weren't able to score goals last time we saw them in action. That has to shift.
I'm sure it will shift because they've been out, they've been grinding, they've been practicing. For Team HERETICS, their star player, he's a player close to my heart. He's the star of my eye, Matthias Bonanno. And if you don't know much about him, have a look at this because he'll be your favourite soon.
Matthias Bonanno.
Matthias Bonanno.
Matthias Bonanno.
Matthias Bonanno.
Matthias Bonanno.
Matthias Bonanno, I know how much you're a fan.
And what was the question mark over him, Richard, for so long? Could he do it in Europe? Could he do it on the big stage?
You are the team of the season, Cup champions.
The E-Champions League. Finds R9, nicely done. Oxlade-Chamberlain towards the back post. Matthias Bonanno! Well, look, Rich, you're going to be happy because you're going to be seeing a lot more of Matthias Bonanno.
I am. Marcelo over to Cancelo. Whips straight into the box. Sadio Mane takes a touch. Sticks it in the bottom left corner. Matthias Bonanno, the man who can seemingly do it all. Can he do it all? That is the question tonight in London. Matthias Bonanno for Team Heretics. He has to play some of his best FIFA if they want to go through, Brandon. What makes Matthias and Heretics in particular tick? And why do they need to improve tonight or compared to what we saw 4 weeks ago?
Well, I think as Mike said, they were the favourites coming into the tournament. They were Team of the Season Cup winners last year. If you don't know Matthias Bonanno, Richard's probably sold him to you already, but he was in Argentina, moved to Madrid last year and was a runner-up in the Champions League individually. 2v2, he had a great season with his teammate Hidalgo. On paper, they were a favourite to come in this year, but I just don't know why. On FIFA 23, it just hasn't got clicking for him individually or his teammate in Hidalgo. Today, that could all change, though.
Yeah, it's very early days for this Team Heretics roster. I really do think that tonight has to be their night. They have to defend well. Do you think that's the key to victory for Heretics, keeping clean sheets?
I'd say the opposite, Rich, because they didn't concede. I think they conceded 4 goals 4 weeks ago. It's the opposite. I don't think they scored a single goal in the second half of play 4 weeks ago. A lot of their goals came in, it was only 1. That's all they scored in the game.
Goals win games, an old cliche, a Richard Buckley favourite. What else is a Richard Buckley favourite is the rules, because I'm a stickler for official formats. That's what I am, Brandon. This is the group format for tonight. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss. If you're wondering what format it is going to be, we're playing the double round robin. That means everyone plays each other twice. And tonight we're in the second round of fixtures. The top 2 teams qualify for the knockouts in the second week of January, and the bottom 3 teams will be eliminated. And Brandon, because I love you, I'm going to let you tell everybody at home about the tie-break situation.
Yeah, that's really easy to explain, Richard. No, it's not. This is the tiebreaker situation if a team is level on points at the end of play today. After we played all the games, there's 3 ways this will be broken down. I'm going to read it off the screen because I've got no idea what it means. Total points in all matches among tied teams. Goals scored in all matches among tied teams is 1 and 2 of the 2 different tiebreaker formats. And then number 3, there'll be goal difference in head-to-head matches among tied teams. Yes, that sounds like a lot because it is a lot, but we will explain it as it goes along. And I'll be honest, Rich, I just hope we can maybe use a tiebreaker because last week we didn't need it.
And I'll be honest, I've been doing this for 6 years. I still don't have a clue what the tiebreak situation is all about. Someone just tells me I'm here who's going through. Well, we know the games, we know how it's going to be formatted, we know the players who are going to be competing. But the one thing we're missing at the moment is the players, and that's where we throw it over to our very own Mike LaBelle doing his best guest impression of Kyle Walker to bring out those competitors.
Well, I definitely have a much different accent compared to Kyle. And what we do have here is Group D. We have 5 teams, but only 2 qualification spots. So they're going to battle it out for that. And first off, we have the guys that lead the group. They're still undefeated. We're looking at FOKUS, and we have the likes of DullenMIKE and Musty. Well, first off, congratulations on last time I saw you guys in action. How does it feel to be leading this group and to still be undefeated?
It feels amazing. We don't lose 1 game. It feels amazing.
Yeah, obviously it's great to get 3 wins and 1 draw, and we're looking to replicate that today.
And I got to talk with Tex after he advanced last week, of course, with Fnatic, and they were saying that you guys are the team to watch and you're looking forward to it, even from an individual side on your end as well, DullenMIKE. How does that kind of make you feel as well that you have that expectation?
Yeah, it's great to hear something like that from a player like Tex, and the job is not done yet, but we're in a good position, so we're looking to finish first.
Perfect. Well, I'll let you guys get situated. I love the mustache. I think you're growing it out. We've got the no-shave November. Next up, we have Richard's favorite, of course. We're looking at Team Heretics, and you've got the likes of Hidalgo and Matthias Bonanno. Following them, we have PSG Esports. We're looking at Ahmad and Nkantee. Stepping onto the stage now, we have repping the red and white of AJAX. It's the Brazilian duo, PHzin and Resende. And lastly, a team that definitely needs results coming into the second week here. We have Manchester City Esports with our very own Ryan Pessoa and Shellzz. What's up, fellas? It seems like you brought a support group today. So last week we saw you in action. Unfortunately, had a couple draws, didn't get some of the results. What are you shifting heading into this week?
Not really changing too much. I think now it's just all about confidence. I don't think last week or last month kind of showed what we're capable of, so hopefully put in a good performance.
Same thing.
Same thing. We're going to diddle that. Well, I don't want to take anything away. Get you guys situated. Get ready for those matches. Good luck today. Well, we've talked to all the competitors. We've seen them in action. They're sitting down. We have the countdown clock, 90 seconds, and we have the return of Dan Gaskin. He's going to be joined by Brandon Smith.
Thank you very much, Mike LaBelle. And yes, you are absolutely right. Dan Gaskin back in the FIFA commentary booth. It's been too long. How long has it been?
Oh, since I've been with you, about over a year now, I think. But since I've been in FIFA Esports, I'm in the EMLS last year. But what a time to come back during this competition where there's so much drama. We could potentially be seeing teams go through that are right at the bottom of the table today. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, you've come back at the right time because it's knockout FIFA. Only 2 teams from this group of 5 can get themselves through. As you saw, there's just under a minute left of this game today. But what a group this one plans to be. You could argue that FOKUS maybe have run away with it, but there's a lot still to unfold near the bottom half of this group.
Yeah, I think that if we can see a result from Man City in their first game, then suddenly this group is blown wide open. But they need a result. And we saw, as Shellzz was saying, last month, it was not the best month for them. However, of course, we are going to be focusing on this match, PSG versus Heretics. So much to play for. Are we going to see draws galore like we see just a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, well, 4 weeks ago was the last time these guys played in Group D. It was a 1-1 scoreline. If we have to be very critical, Dan, which we will be, this is the team of the Season Cup champions that have not played like champions this year on FIFA 23 because they've not won a game. They drew 3 points from 12 will not be good enough again this week to get them into the knockouts.
No, and Richard was asking you, do they need to improve their defence? And quite rightly, you said, no, actually, their defence has been pretty good, tied at the least goals conceded, but just haven't been scoring those goals. So difficult in 2v2, the pressure that is put on you as an individual, your teammate just hoping you're going to tuck those goals away. But sometimes it just doesn't happen for you, and you've just got to be able to build upon that and get past those unfortunate mistakes that can happen.
Yeah, well, let's speak about footballing giants because this group's got plenty of them. AJAX, PSG and Man City. There's not loads of football clubs that are in FIFA Esports. It's always a mixture of esports organisations and football teams. This is like a bit of a Champions League-esque group, this. You've got some huge names in there. AJAX and PSG are sort of amongst the names that could go through today. But Manchester City, they've got to come through and bring something today because there was one game in particular, Dan, 4 weeks ago where they were 2-0 up against AJAX and threw that away. Again, that can't happen again today.
It can, and I did speak to some of the Man City boys, and I was asking them how are they feeling. Obviously, there is that pressure. They do know they have to get results here, but they are quietly confident. You saw in their walkout as well, complete focus, no sort of celebrations or no sort of things they're going to try and put out to try and intimidate others. It was just making sure their head is in the game. And it's a very exciting week, Brandon, because, of course, we are going to see changes since the patch now. We're going to see slightly different gameplay, maybe some slightly different players coming into the equation.
Yeah, and if you didn't like the Trivela shot, don't worry, it's been nerfed ever so slightly, but it still could fly into the back of the net. And we want to get you guys involved at home with 15 seconds left on the clock. Who is going to be the first goal scorer in our game? We're not talking about teams, we're talking about individual foot items. We did this a few weeks ago. Everyone said Mbappe, They got it right after 4 minutes. Dan, I'll put you back in on the spot because you're back in the commentary booth. Give me a name who you think is bagging first. Part of me thinks you're just going to say R9.
I was thinking R9, but you know what? I'll go out of the box. I'll go for Yaya Toure instead.
Yaya Toure. I'll go David Ginola. We won't go for an Mbappe or an R9 pick. Let us know in the comments as well and in the chat, those at home, who is scoring that first and opening goal today. We're seeing Zinedine Zidane. I don't think Messi will get a start as people are trying to tee him up. But that team of the week, Mbappe, might be the man that scores the first and opening goal here. Will be PSG kicking from left to right in this game. And of course, Team Heretics from right to left. Team of the Season Cup champions. They won the trophy in this very room here in London. But unfortunately, this room has not given them much luck here on the FIFA 23 season so far. It's going to be so important that they just start this game well today, because across the board, Dan, I think they've averaged about 1 goal a game. And compared to teams like FOKUS that average 3 or 4, it's a lot different, and it needs to be today.
Yeah, especially when you consider the players on this roster and, as you say, the experience they hold and how well Mateus was playing in 1v1 competitions previously and the Team of the Season Cup you speak of. You want goals from this squad, and it just feels like they need an early goal so they can get that confidence, so they can believe in themselves and start to trust one another when they're making these passes.
Well, you spoke about changes to the teams, Dan. There are a few in there, and it's a case of just the upgrades. You may have seen that FIFA Foot Hero, the World Cup edition. It's basically just a simple upgrade. Expect that to be for the likes of Yaya Toure, of course, going forward as well. I should say, in the left back, we're seeing Capdevia come into the teams. He's been now proven enough. And then at the back, a new addition to this year on FIFA. Keen to get your thoughts, Dan. Lucio is coming to the mix, and he's been superb.
Love Lucio. I think his physical build is incredible. Works in this new meta as well, where some of the lengthy players maybe are falling out of favour, like Van Dijk, for example. And we'll see whether there's a chance here, and almost, yes, does go in. And that's going to be the perfect start here for PSG, and quite rightly celebrating towards one another, because that is going to build their confidence now, and they are going to grow.
And what a start for Nkantee and Anamara of PSG. There were new pickups this year as a duo. Yes, Nkantee was there in the previous years, but they've been a bit of a surprise package in this group. As it stands, they sit on 5 points. It was 5 from 12. You can see it on your screen right now. Top 2 is what will get you into the knockout stages in January. But I hate to say it, it's a nightmare start for the Team of the Season Cup winners. If they were to fall out of the groups today, that would be the biggest of shocks we've seen so far in the EA Sports Cup.
Yeah, really, considering they have lacked goals, where are they going to find those goals? With the Trivela nerf, it has become a little bit more difficult to score from range, but again, speaking to the players, they say it's still possible, it's still likely to go in. If you use those players with the outside foot trait, you're still going to get results. So I don't think we're going to see the end of the Trivela shots, but perhaps less goals than we had seen previously.
Well, we spoke a lot, didn't we, in terms of the bit of the broadcast now, just maybe more of a running battle, a bit more of a pacey battle, so to speak, with the lengthy nerf, as you said. The players that are actually fast in FIFA will probably come out on top and just win some of those battles. Hence, you may see Mbappe have a running race or two of the likes of Lucio or even Patrick Vieira at the back.
Yeah, in 1v1, I think it is more noticeable, but maybe 2v2 it's slightly different, because defensively you've still got that extra player to make the cover for you. And again, speaking to PSG, I was speaking to Nkantee, he was saying in 2v2 it feels very similar, but I have really struggled defending in 1v1.
Heretics coming forward, their captain, Matías Bonanno. Back again, Jarzinho, it was a good idea, but wasn't quite good enough. Keep an eye on those individual player cursors above the heads of both of the two teams. That blue cursor is Matías Bonanno, his teammate Hidalgo, with that sort of turquoise green triangle. And on the flip side, in possession now, is Nkantee, the captain of this PSG team, and his newest addition of a teammate this year in Amar. Yaya Toure, what a player he is this year. I can sit here and luckily say I packed him, one of the few. Had to bring that in. He's just the sort of perfect partner for Hullet, isn't he?
He really is. Offers a little bit of everything, very much box to box, and really can do a job on either side of the pitch, and especially since we've had the upgrade, of course, with the World Cup edition, is going to be a staple in these sides for quite some time, I feel. Even with the changes with lengthy, controlled, explosive, Yaya has not taken too big of a hit. He's still going to be a commanding figure in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, and someone else who's hasn't left the team since the first week of this EA Sports Cup is Jarzinho, new icon this year, the Brazilian. Just fits in perfectly to these teams. He has been heavily involved in not just chances created, but goals scored. Here's Mbappe. Heretics on the hunt. 33 minutes gone for a goal back in this game. It will only be their 5th in the competition. Jarzinho. Tries his best, Hullet. R9 will try and pick up the pieces, but they've got there a few times, Dan, and just looked a little bit lacklustre in terms of what they want to do going forward.
You can really see Heretics are percentage players. What I mean by that is they're always looking for that extra little bit of something in the box, that extra pass. They're looking to try and guarantee a goal, and they're not taking too many risks at the moment. Perhaps that will change the further we get into this game and the more they need a goal as we go on.
Just to correct myself there, sorry, only 2 goals Heretics have scored. They are the joint lowest goal scorers in this whole competition with SBQR, who, if you don't know SBQR, the Brazilian org, unfortunately, they're rock bottom of their group. They're in action in the next week. It really hasn't been an attacking display to remember from Heretics. Could it all change now? That could be a give for R9. Hidalgo will try and pick up the pieces. He does well. Hidalgo still. Mbappe's on side. Not for so long, though, as he loses possession to Zambrotta. I can't explain it more to those at home. They have to get a win from this game. They have to take a win from this game, Dan. They're on 3 points. They'll have 3 chances left to get a maximum of 9, which might not even be enough when you've got the likes of PSG running away.
A very high chance they could be bottom of the table after this round if they do lose this game, especially with what's happening elsewhere. And of course, as the scores come in, we will find out how Man City are doing against Ajax. But maybe one last chance here before the half.
Is that too heavy? Yes, it is. I think that may just do. It's only time to come. I think no time at all. As soon as this kick will be taken by Van der Sar. That should do us for half-time here. As you rightly said, Dan, it is Man City Ajax in our other game. We'll give you an update on it as it does come through, but so far here, only 1 goal to talk about, and surprise, surprise, we said about first goal scorer. If I let you chose R9, you may have got that right, but no surprise you scored the first goal.
Yeah, R9 just such a staple up front. Very important for all of these squads, of course, but it is going to be PSG with that early goal, and that is why they are leading at the moment. Confidently as well, I'd say. The only real chances coming from Heretics have been from mistakes on the other side.
Well, if you are here to watch FOKUS, they are in action for the next 4 rounds tonight. They are just sitting out of this first round here. And speaking of FOKUS, our very own Richard Buckley is with the coach of that team in Stylo.
That I am, Brandon, down here with Stylo. Stylo, I want to ask you a quick question. We've been watching this game behind us. Are PSG the best side other than FOKUS in this group?
I think there are many good teams. We have Heretics, the last year winner. Ajax, very strong team. I don't think it's only PSG, but they're a strong team.
As it currently stands, they're 2 points off FOKUS. How's preparation been for FOKUS coming into this game?
We prepared like last time, so we know our qualities and we have a job to do. And we don't watch too many on the other teams. We try to do our thing and to get all points possible today.
Very last question before I go, because I'm getting the notion that the games are ready. Are FOKUS Clan the best team in the world right now?
I believe in our quality and I say yes.
There you go. Brandon, back to you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Well, that man knows a lot about FIFA Esports because he coached Mo Alba to a FIFA E World Cup not so long ago. Now involved with FOKUS as a coach there. He said he believes they could be the best team. And I mean, in terms of what we've seen across these 6 weeks of the EA Sports Cup, Dan, he's right to say that at the moment.
Well, when you've got the attention of Tex as well in DullenMIKE saying he's interested to see what he does this week, you know full well you're doing something right in this league. And we'll have to see now whether, on the flip side, Heretics can find a little bit of magic themselves. I think they're kind of relying on PSG taking and making a mistake at the moment, and that does happen in 2v2. You can apply a lot of pressure.
Well, there's been a goal in the other game. We teased you that Man City were taking on Ajax. Which way has the goal gone? It's gone in the favour of Manchester City, and I cannot tell you how big of a goal that may have been for Ryan Pessoa and Shellzz. 2 points next to their name. I said they had to win the opening game alongside Heretics. That is what that does for them, Dan. It puts them back in the mix and says, you know what, we could go through by the end of play tonight.
Speaking of Marcus Gomes, the coach of Man City, was saying we just need a victory in that first game to give us the belief that we can push on and we can get out of this group. FOKUS are a shoo-in, we know that full well, but Man City, that is going to do them the world of good and so much confidence.
And look at that, you would not expect to see that when that group was drawn all that time ago before FIFA 23 even hit the streets. Team Heretics, rock bottom of the group without a win next to their name. Can they find a way back into the game? Right about now. Great fit in the box from Matthias Bonanno. Mbappe back to goal. Hidalgo tries his best. Great save, Van der Sar.
And that's one of those that just goes watching Both players expecting it to go hurtling towards the top corner, but just not enough quality in the final third. Could have timed it green, could have been one of the big differences there, but now a chance maybe from this corner.
Whipped in, and unfortunately, into Weapon van der Sar's hands. 30 minutes they've got to find an answer.
And already a little bit of time
no.
wasting, but it could have gone wrong.
Could be a gift. Hidalgo tries to outsmart Vieira. Well played on the flip side from that mistake that PSG made. Can PSG break this press now? It's naturally going to be quite heavily offensive from Heretics as they try their best to just pile bodies forward. Back into this game, patient defending again. That's twice now Nkantee's been in control defensively, and he's just got it so right.
Yeah, you can tell that Hidalgo is confident with his skills on the edge of the box, and he wants to be able to try and beat a man, but it has not been easy for him because PSG have been on top of things defensively.
Well, we said Man City were 1 goal to the good. Are they 2 goals to the good, or has there been an equaliser for Ajax? It has gone the way of the Dutch side. 28 minutes left in the game. PHzin and Resende responding. Not good if you're a Manchester City fan.
And it was one of those occasions where both defenders went the same way. Very unfortunate.
PSG looking to rub salt into the wounds of Team Heretics fans. Doesn't come to anything in the end, and this could be a gift. It's a running race. R9's got Mbappe in support. Hidalgo has to time this right for his teammate, and again Nkantee. He's just been so good defensively. Whether it's Vieira or Lucio, the tackles have just been on point.
Yeah, Nkantee's been covering everything at the moment, but perhaps they've been trying to do a little bit too much. There is how the table stands at the moment with that goal. Man City dropped down to 4th place. Ajax regained their spot in 3rd, which is very important considering PSG are still leading. But it is do or die now. You've got to feel for Heretics, bottom of the table, need a goal to give them a real chance.
And they've not got much time left. Last 15, Hidalgo back post. Matthias Bonanno, he can't find it once, twice. He just can't unlock the door to this PSG defence that just does everything it can to keep the Spanish side out, and they've done it again.
This is like my FUT Champions games all over. You've got everything except that final finish. Van der Sar having an absolute worldie. Are Heretics maybe a little bit dangerous in the final third, but then overplaying it for their extra pass? And they've got to be careful they don't get punished on the counter-attack here, but they have to go forward.
It's just an absolute battle, isn't it, across the pitch? The amount of bodies flying into tackles for both teams. They have to take one of these chances, Heretics. Time's running out. What a ball! One more pass! Van der Sar again. Just doing enough. And it's another corner. The Team Heretics, surely their goal's got to come.
I mean, quite rightly, they take a breather here. They have a little bit of consideration as to how they want to approach not just this corner, but the final 10 minutes of this game. Earlier, before the broadcast started, the PSG team, they were all sitting down, they were watching and assessing, as well as Heretics. Both of these squads were looking at how the other team was playing against other sides previously last month. And yes, okay, it's a little bit of last-minute research, but to have that in your brain, to know what kind of skills your opposition is going to go for, know what kind of strategy they're going to be implementing, it's the perfect way to try and counter it. But I'd say PSG, they've got everything at the moment. They seem to have the number of Heretics every single time Heretics get into that final third, Brandon. And Nkantee's there, defending. He's covering those runs, and it is so tough for them to try and break through.
Yeah, well, as we said, this game, as it stands, PSG lead Heretics by a goal. So now what that does in the table, as well as you just saw, it puts PSG up into 2nd place. Remember, top 2 will go through to the knockout stages in January. This is only the first round of action. If you think this is good, well, guess what? You've still got 4 more rounds to come. But that chance, you look back on it. You look back on it, Dan. The ball fell to the feet of Matthias Bonanno. I don't know if there was a 1 more pass on or not. How has he not scored? We'll never know. 10 minutes. Eusebio comes on. Can he be the difference maker? Ball into the box. Oh, it does well! And Team Heretics will make it 3 goals in the tournament. They scored 2 4 weeks ago, and they've already scored half of that in their first opening game now. You cannot underestimate how important that goal is for them. With 10 minutes left to play still, there's no reason why they can't go and get another one.
I mean, Van der Sar again with an excellent save, but finally someone is there to poke it home. And that is going to do wonders for now their belief in this game. I think they would have been a little bit dejected. Their head started to drop ever so slightly. It had to happen there, you feel, for them to really believe they can win this game. Not just draw. Heretics don't want another draw. They've drawn enough games in this tournament so far. They need to get a victory, as we get a reminder of now as it stands here with the draw being on the cards. Manchester City bottom, PSG moving to third, and Ajax hold that second spot very much barely. But you can see how tight it is, Brandon, between these teams.
Honestly, it's not really moved other than Ajax, PSG, Heretics and City have just had a point added to their tally from 4 weeks ago. Again, we'll give you the latest of that Ajax Man City game. It is still underway in the second half of action. It was 1-1 last time we heard from it. If any goals do go in, we'll be sure to jump straight over to it. A last couple of changes here for both of these two teams. PSG, they look ready to go. On the flip side, Coach Edu over the shoulder, who's been on the journey with Team Heretics. He was part of their winning success to that Team of the Season Cup last year. Just adding those final few words of wisdom on. There is time. They will get a chance, Dan. It's just a case of, will they be able to take it?
And who wants to go for it here? Because a draw suits PSG a little bit better. They're in a more favourable position in the table. On the other side, Heretics kind of have to go for it. It was Lucio, of all cards, by the way, of all players, they were able to get the finish in the end. And now a real chance for Heretics to try and do some damage in this table.
There's about 5 minutes left in the Man City Ajax game for those that are wondering. 1-1 is the scoreline still. It looks as if the points are going to be shared there. We said again, though, Man City need to win that opening game just as much as Heretics do here. They've got to go for it, surely.
They do have to go for it, but it's much harder in 2v2 games to try and press as you would in a 1v1 game, because both of you need to be on the same page. So both of Heretics need to be having that conversation during the break. These are the areas we need to be pushing. These are the areas we need to be trying to expose here. Dummy runs are going to be a big thing here in 2v2 as well.
That could be a good ball. Hullet, unfortunately, fouls his man on the way through. Referee will play on. PSG happy to keep the ball here. They are fortunate enough that they are in a slightly better position. And unfortunately, 4 weeks ago, the scoreline was 1-1, so we look like we're in for deja vu between these two. And on the flip side, Ajax, Man City was also a draw 4 weeks ago. Looks like nothing's really changed. Added time to follow, probably of a minute at most. And it looks as if PSG are actually going to get the last chance, or not. It's a big win from Marquisio in the midfield. Heretics now or never on the flip side. Massive tackle from Hullet. And the points will be split here, and I think potentially they may also be split nearly over in Man City versus Ajax. Not the result they would have wanted, but if we have to be really, really critical, Dan, at least it's a point.
I think because it was a draw elsewhere between Man City and Ajax, it's not the end of the world for either team. Yes, it favours PSG just because where they are at the moment in the table. It's again frustration though for Heretics. I think the early goal really hurt them. They could have won that game. They know they could have won it as well. A couple of chances that perhaps they snatched at a little bit, and if they were given that opportunity, they definitely go for it again.
Yeah, we just saw full time in the game behind us in the pit as well. Man City Ajax looks as if that was a draw at 1-1 as well. So to be honest, not much has changed in terms of the table. Everyone's just been added on a point other than FOKUS, because FOKUS sat out of this round. I know there's a lot of FOKUS fans in the chat watching from around the world. They're in action for round 2, 3, 4 and 5 at the end of play today. You're right though, Dan. I think the good thing is, as the other game was a draw, it is still set up, isn't it, for potentially anything that can still happen. We don't know who that second team's going to be.
We could also see shock results. If someone takes down FOKUS, imagine how that could impact the table as well. I did really enjoy the battle of Nkantee and Hidalgo on that right-hand side. Defensively though, Nkantee was perfect.
Yeah, incredible scenes. Game 1 done. We've still got 4 more rounds to come here at the EA Sports Cup as we try and find 2 teams from the 5 to book a spot in Knockout FIFA. From myself and Dan, that is us done for the first game. Over to Richard and Michael, and I believe they've been joined with a special guest.
Not right now, Brandon.
I'm a special guest. I
yeah,
like that.
Look,
I'm
me
back
just
here.
being here on the floor is a special moment, really, for anybody at home. We've seen 1 round of fixtures so far. Mike, nothing really to take away, or what's
there were a
your
lot
thoughts?
of opportunities.
Yeah.
If there's one takeaway from there, and I know that we're going to review some of the highlights, a lot of missed chances, great goalkeeper work,
Yeah.
last-ditch efforts, legs were extended, blocks were made. It's
One
the
of
Buckley
those?
show.
Yeah,
so
one of those.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Do you think it was a missed opportunity to pick up some points
Yes.
around your closest rivals? with
100%. This is the best
FOKUS
flip
missing?
you could have had. Shake my hand. This
Thank
was
you.
a perfect setup for them to start the day off, and neither of them got the job done, really, in terms of having a point swap.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some huge, huge chances in our featured match, and really, you look back on this and you think, how did not finish more goals? That was the opening finish there from PSG, but just talk me through a couple of these chances, because it was miss after save after save after miss for Heretics.
Gorgeous opener, and you're almost doing too much there if you're looking at Heretics. Right place, right time. You have that new skill move again with the heel to the ball roll. Ronaldo, extra pass. How that doesn't go in, I have no idea. I thought you were going to have the one additional pass. Can't miss from there, surely. And again, the goalkeeper, Van der Sar, he is making a difference. That's going to be a theme. That's going to be a storyline. And even the save there, when you think about the corner, turned into a rebound, and I'm sure they'll take that goal, gave them a lot of hope. And they were more ambitious in this game. They went for it. There's no denying that. But to come out of there with a draw, they're probably not that happy about it. Yes, it's better than a loss, but considering the chances that were created.
Which team was it 2 points dropped? Was it Heretics 2 points dropped, or was it PSG 2 points dropped?
No brainer, just based on where they're placed in the group. It's going to be 2 points dropped for Heretics, and also 2 points dropped for Manchester City because they're getting a draw. Regardless of how the game went, you know that a win just shifts everything in terms of your momentum, your drive, your ambition.
Well, we saw a couple of the highlights there from our featured matchup. I'm going to throw it over to Mike LaBelle for the analysis presented by PlayStation to take a deeper dive.
Thank you very much. And we're going to review the opening goal. Really total football with the build-up. I'm definitely a big fan of how PSG Esports able to put this together. They resurface and recycle. We see this often with the center backs, and they start to ping it around. And you get this beautiful play with Ruud Gullit. I call this a dummy run. I heard Dan reference it earlier, but you're showcasing a couple players that look like they might be open. You're just trying to drag a player out of position, and in this case, it opens up a lane of space for R9. You've frozen the midfield. You've frozen the defense, and this is at the highest of level to be able to pick that pass out, to be clinical, and to throw off your opposition.
So do you think that's communication, or is that individual brilliance? Is that you saying, I'm going to make this dummy run, or is it you doing something like you're just doing all the work and me just pressing circle to score?
Well, first off, it's two special players. These are the best of the best. And then them coming together in a collaboration, knowing that they're showing, but they're actually going. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did rhyme.
He's got to rhyme any time, does Mike LaBelle. In the other matchup for round one, it was all square between Manchester City and Ajax. These are the best moments that we picked out from the draw. Mike, cast your eye over these.
When you had that opener for Manchester City and you said, okay, they're up 1-0. We've seen this before from them. If we go back a few weeks where they weren't able to hold on to those leads, and it was a similar story here. You cut inside, Pele opens up a window, and there weren't a lot of chances from Ajax, to be fair. But again, the game is always going to come down to being clinical. Whether it's corner kicks, it's set pieces, you're looking for margins, maybe a bounce here, a bounce there, an extra skill move, you name it, you need these intricate details.
And there are the results from the opening matchup, as you could tell from the highlights. 1-1 PSG and Team Heretics, and 1-1 between Ajax and Manchester City. At this level, it is all about small margins. What are you smiling at, Mike?
Just us sharing the room like this.
There's been a lot of touching today.
I'm a little disappointed I didn't get a loud blazer. That's all I'm going to say.
Maybe next week if I get invited back. FOKUS, top of the pile, 10 points. They've not yet played a game today. Ajax 6, PSG 6. Team Heretics on 4, Manchester City on 3. Mike, thoughts on that table?
And you see what I mean? It doesn't knock out Heretics or Manchester City statistically here, but they just need more results to go their way, where they could have caught up to the table with one win.
Yeah, absolutely. It is only round one that we've played here today. These are the upcoming matchups. The featured match, FOKUS Clan, the team everyone has to beat, up against Manchester City. On the other side, it's going to be Heretics against Ajax. And I don't want to seem like I'm pulling out all the phrases, but it is a 6-pointer. It's the ultimate 6-pointer, that one. Quick thought before the break on that Heretics versus Ajax
I can't
game.
wait to watch the 6-pointer. Tell us what's happening.
Oh, so the 6-pointer's coming in. On the other side of the break, we've got a huge matchup. It's going to be Manchester City against FOKUS Clan. FOKUS looking to maintain their unbeaten streak at the top of the table. City with a huge 3 points potential on the horizon after this break. Don't go anywhere.
EA Sports Cup is presented by PlayStation Tournaments.
Compete in PlayStation Tournaments. Win your share of cash prizes, FIFA points and more as you face off in FUT and club competitions. Sign up for weekly and monthly tournaments on your PS4 console or at compete.playstation.com to test your skills on the pitch. Think you have what it takes?
Well, welcome back to London once again for the EA Sports Cup. You joined myself, Brandon Smith, and Lisa Manley, professional FIFA player of PGS Esports. We're back for round 2 here, Lisa, and we're back for FOKUS in action. There's a lot of people that have been excited to see FOKUS Clan in action. Well, guess what? They're playing up against Man City. This is a massive game, Lisa, because we said Man City needed to win their first round game. They drew it. The pressure now is even more so.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a massive, massive game. But, I mean, obviously, if DullenMIKE and Musty get this, you would potentially think they're obviously guaranteed to win the group. However, they do still have more games. Yeah, well, one thing that was so impressive about them 4 weeks ago, Lisa, they scored 11 goals. I think in 3 of the 4 games they played, they scored 4 goals and 3 goals. And I think that was all in the first half of play. They've just been relentless going forward, and especially in one-legged games of FIFA. How difficult is that to come back when you're 3-0 down in 45 minutes? Yeah, exactly. It's very, very tough. I think, against DullenMIKE, we know he's very, very good going forward. Tech spoke about him, was skillful in the box, and it's very hard to defend that. Yeah, well, what a team they have been. DullenMIKE and, of course, Musty. Do you think the patch will affect them? Because I didn't think they scored that many Trivela-esque goals when they played 4 weeks ago. But it has affected some teams, and I think we've seen that already today. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it will, to be honest with you. I think DullenMIKE is a very, very good player, but they've been together for each other for a while, and I think that going forward, they'll be really good. No, absolutely. Well, one player that has been the star man in this FOKUS team is DullenMIKE, and there's a little bit more about him why he's been so good this year.
This is the first time DullenMIKE has ever gone this far in a tournament. First time he's ever gotten to the 3rd day of a tournament.
Attack after attack after attack from the German. To R9, one more goal would finish this. DullenMIKE, congratulations.
But now I won, it's just the feeling is better than ever before.
DullenMIKE is the wonder kid out of Germany.
The voice of an angel. He plays the FIFA of a god.
This man is 9-1 up, he's 10-1 up.
Don't score, don't
up.
Please.
DullenMIKE is a man who has no mercy.
We're going to have to call this patch the DullenMIKE patch from now on, because it is literally made for him.
My name is DullenMIKE. I got the deepest voice, the longest neck, and we're getting the... I'm not stopping today. I'm not stopping tomorrow. Run up the 5 at the back.
Well, there you have it. DullenMIKE has been so good since he came into FIFA Esports. Was one of the youngest ever FUT Champions Cup winners, Lisa, many years ago. Since then, he's been a virtual Bundesliga champion. What do you think is the secret to all that success of a player that is just so young? Yeah, I just think, to be honest with you, when you're so young, you don't really have many expectations, coming into it. No one would really have known who he was, and then he ended up winning so many major tournaments, sort of like Tex, really. And I think going forward, he's so, so good, and he's shown that within the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? No, absolutely. And I think what's more impressive from him, he's still unbeaten in FUT Champs, which for some people is an achievement. He has been unbeaten, I think 150-0. It is still going up and up and up and up and up. Right, we are ready for round 2 of action here in Group D. It's even more important for Man City to win this one. And there's a man in a white jumper there that you might just recognise if you are a fan of FOKUS or Elias. I've seen the chat going absolutely crazy about this man in town in London. I even got myself a cheeky little selfie early on today. I have to put you on the spot, and I'll put everyone on the spot at home. What is the score going to be in this game? Because I'm nice, Lisa. I won't ask for who's going to win. Just tell me how many goals we're going to see in this game. Because last time they played 4 weeks ago, there was 5 goals in it, and FOKUS won 4-1. This time round, how many goals do you think we're going to see? I mean, like you mentioned, obviously, last time they played, it was 4-1. However, new patch, I feel like it's harder to score, especially with the Trevellas being nerfed. However, FOKUS Clan, we didn't really see them doing that too much. So I'm going to say 3-1. 3-1. Well, let us know at home in the chat who is winning, how many goals we're going to see. I want to get you involved in the conversation here at the EA Sports Cup. Manchester City need points on the board currently. Sit on 3 points from 15 games so far. We're just going into a small technical pause here where there are just a couple of controller changes being made there. But I think the main thing from that first game, Lisa, is that they didn't lose Man City. They drew with Ajax. They drew last time they played them. If they were to lose that game, the pressure would have been on them even more so. But how do they go and break down a team like FOKUS that have been ruthless? They haven't lost a game. They've scored 11 goals. They've only conceded 4. They've won 3 games. They've only drawn 1. How do you beat a team like that, especially in one leg of FIFA?
Yeah, I feel like in one leg of FIFA, anyone could beat anyone. Normally, the better team wins over 2 legs. However, you know, new patch, I feel like you match them in the same formation. We can see them using a 5-at-the-back formation, and that's quite hard to break down. You know, I played against people using 5-at-the-back in FUT Champs, and I've struggled. However, if you can match them, potential chance here, defended really well. If you can match them, you know, there's not as much space as they would have, and I think that would help them. However, we know there's so many different formations that you can use this year, you know, 4-4-2, 4-2-2. There's so many different formations to sort of counter these other formations that we're being used.
Here's Man City. Ronaldo looking to get the odd bounce. Could still be alive for Man City. They're trying their best to get that ball down. R9 had an idea, and Mbappe couldn't quite lock onto it. So what you're saying in short, you think they match it up?
Yeah, I think they counter it and they use the same formation. I think that would give them a little bit of trouble going forward.
Here's FOKUS. DullenMIKE and Musti. If you are a fan of either of these two players individually, DullenMIKE's got the red cursor above his head in game, that red triangle, and that sort of orange-yellow circle will be his teammate in Musti. DullenMIKE, you can't argue, was the star of the show 4 weeks ago. He scored more of the individual goals, and he scored quite a few of the skill move goals. He loves a combination, doesn't he? And I'd say the timing of his skills, Lisa, are always just so on point. And that comes from him grinding out those weekend league games when there's a lot of players that probably don't care about that. For him, it's just 20 wins every weekend. I want another 20 wins, another 20 wins. I want to perfect my game so I can help my teammate. Yeah,
exactly. Practice makes perfect. And, you know, he might not be doing it against the best of the best in FUT Champs, obviously, but, you know, it helps, you know, you be able to work out when to perfectly time these skill moves. And, you know, I feel like this year the best skill move to use, especially in and around the box, is the reverse elastico, especially the dead stop into reverse elastico. It makes it a lot more quicker, and I'm sure we'll see that throughout this competition.
We saw a handful of goals from FOKUS, as we said. 4 weeks ago, they scored 11 goals. They're looking for their 12th in the competition. Here's R9 for Musti. Great save, and the Sar. Man City do well to get out of that one.
Yeah, that is great goalkeeper movement there. Obviously, Shellzz doing that, obviously in the blue cursor, because the person that's obviously controlling it is the person that is able to do that. And yeah, I mean, without moving the goalkeeper there, I reckon that's a certainty of a goal.
Pele is Ryan Pessoa. Does well, a little elastico. Man City have loved getting the ball down this side of the pitch. They just are probably one pass away from causing danger in the box. Just looking across the board here, it looks to be Toure in, put it in the midfield. I mean, Toure fits perfectly for this team as a Man City hero himself. It's quite an easy fit this year, isn't it, to put him into the team for a Man City FIFA player?
Yeah, especially with the chemistry that it gives you on the 3 stars automatically, even if you don't have Premier League players within the team. So I think he's a must for these players. You know, his presence that he brings, the physicality that he brings, you know, the headers that he can bring defensively and also going forward is just something that you need to have. It's sort of like a Hullet and a Vieira combination that you must have within your team as well.
As this game is underway, also is HERETICS versus Ajax. We will keep you up to date with that game. As it stands, it means everything here tonight in London. It's knockout FIFA. We will be saying goodbye to 3 teams by the end of play tonight. And congratulations to 2 that will join the likes of Movistar Riders and Fnatic in knockout FIFA in this $250,000 EA Sports 2v2 Cup, which is 6 weeks into it. Still got plenty more to unfold. Here's Capdevia. Good feet. Here's Shellzz with R9. Great feet still. Man City building, finding the right exit maybe. Pele with good feet. I love this from Man City. They've just been direct at times, haven't they? They've took the game to FOKUS and gone, look, stand me up for a skill move and see if you can stop me.
Yeah, I feel like they've definitely played better than what they did a couple of weeks ago. You know, we saw them, I think, pretty sure a couple of goals down in the first half last time they played. Obviously, it was a 4-1 result, but, you know, I think, in my opinion, it's a massive, massive result in this game. They need to get a win. You know, this will be obviously their first loss as well for FOKUS if they do lose.
You're absolutely right, Lisa. They were 3-1 down at half-time when they played 4 weeks ago. The full-time result was 4-1 to FOKUS. But, you know, 4 weeks is a long time. With the patch coming in as well, Man City would have worked on what didn't go right in their first outing in the EA Sports Cup. And from what we've seen here, it has been a lot better. Defensively, they were the worst team defensively in this group, conceding 8 goals in total. Ryan and Shellzz are a partnership that not many teams do have. They've been teammates, I think, for their 3rd year now. They've been battling out from sort of FIFA E-Club World Cup tournaments to E-Premier League past years. Might not have always been the two of them there, but regardless of it, they're 2 great friends, and I think that adds something to this team.
Yeah, exactly. When you're able to play with your friend, it means so much more when you can win together. And on the flip side, you know, DullenMIKE's a very, very good player. Individually, I'd probably say that he's one of the best competitors here, and, you know, his achievements going alongside that, you know, it gives you a boost when you're playing with someone of that caliber. You can sort of rely on him if you make a mistake, and I think that's massive in 2v2.
Again, good idea from Pele, couldn't lock it in with R9. Half-time here. It will see Focus 0, Man City 0, but overall, I think Man City have been in the intendency for most of it. They've been creating so much going forward, and they've loved getting the ball out on the left-hand side, Lisa. It's just trying to sort of manipulate that Focus backline and to try and find a perfect way through. They just haven't been able to find that sort of last pass or that last piece of the puzzle, you could say.
The wings a bit more, you know, I think that definitely helps you when you do that, trying to work from the wing.
Well, half-time in this one is still 0-0, and in our other game, that is also 0-0 as it stands. If you are a fan of Team Heretics or Ajax, we are without a goal in any of them as it stands here at half-time. We're back underway for the second half of play. Who will break the deadlock first in this one? Man City, currently rock bottom of Group D. 3 points next to the name, no win as of yet. What was the goal prediction you gave us, Lisa?
Well, it looks like it's not happening. I said 3-1. However,
you never know.
We did see, obviously, in that FOKUS a couple of weeks ago, they were 4-0 up and ended up conceding 4 and then in the second half. So, you know, anything is possible.
Certainly could happen. And as it stands in Group D, remember, this is how it looks with the current score lines across both the games. The draw in the Heretics Ajax game and the draw here, Man City looking to try and pick up the pieces of Cristiano Ronaldo. Can't quite do that. Focus will still sit top. 11 points next to their name, which, you know, could still be enough depending on results. Happen across the ball. Man City, golden chance. R9 with Shellzz. Did he overplay that? Did he need to just offload it to his teammate? It just all went a bit too quick. He still is alive. Cristiano Ronaldo gets a second chance. That's it. It's panic stations at the back. And Manchester City have found a way past this unbeaten German side of Focus. And for the first time, they've been put on the ropes. And maybe they are on their way to a knockout blow in their first defeat in the EA Sports Cup.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, it came from a mistake. And, you know, we thought when they got the ball the first time, they did a little bit too much. You know, we saw a little roulette there and then a green time shot, which was blocked. But then another mistake, which ended up falling to them, and they had to take that there. And, you know, you take that when that happens. You know, 1-0 up. I mean, they'll be happy, but we did see them go 1-0 up in the last game and ended up being 1-1. So they just got to try and keep their cool and carry on in this round being 1-0 up.
And you might not think that's done much for Focus, because it hasn't. They are still top of the table. But for what that has done for Manchester City is huge. 3 points on top of their 3 they've already got. If they can hold on to this, suddenly they're in the conversation, Lisa, of maybe we could be in that top 2.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke to Ryan before, and he seemed confident, to be honest with you. He said if he won that first game, he felt that he'd get out of the group. They obviously got a draw, which means a bit of momentum. Obviously, remember, this is Focus's first game. You know, they had a sit-out in the first game, which the momentum isn't with them. They haven't had a practice game, you could say, against someone in their group. So I think this is massive.
As we are in this pause right now for Focus. They have been so good, Focus. From what we've seen, they scored 11 goals 4 weeks ago. They have been the highest goal scorers in group play. They're an unfittable, can we say the word? unformidable force going forward. There you go, between Musty and DullenMIKE. But so far today, they just haven't got going. I don't know what it is or what's changed from 4 weeks ago. They didn't really rely on the Trivela much in terms of the patch. What has happened today? They're up against the Man City team that, as it stands, maybe just want it a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like the mentality going into today, they feel that they know that they've sort of got it, you could say. You know, they don't have to rely on beating every team today, sort of like the other team. So I think they know they've got to let off if they do make a couple of mistakes, whereas City, on the other hand, it's sort of a must-win game every game they play.
R9, pull it. The idea was there. What's that run that's just been peeled off from Mbappe? Lucio, a huge chest block. Stops that going through. FOKUS have got numbers. Capdevia trying to move the ball forward. Is it enough on the pass? No, it's not. It's easily dealt with by the Brazilian for Hero. 25 minutes left. Is it time to see a few changes?
I mean, for City, I don't think they need to. I think they're playing really, really well. Obviously, it does help bringing on a couple of fresh legs going forward and seeing a little mistake there. And we do see a pause. I mean, I'm sure that FOKUS will be changing a few things up, maybe going to a more of attacking formation.
25 minutes or so left in this game. So we can see the slight POV from both of these two teams. But while we have got a quick break in play, let's go in to an interview of our very own Richard Buckley, host, commentator, interviewer. I think he's with PSG.
I certainly am, Brandon. Very quick message from Amar. It was a good first game for you, picked up a point. What do you think you're going to improve on in that next round?
Hi everyone, and I think that what we have to improve is the way we play when we got like 1-0 of advance against the opponent, and we saw it that when we scored a goal early in the game, the rest of the half time we played like much in our zone, and we have to play quickly faster before, like we have to play forward quickly, and we can score more goals. That's why we do just 1-0, and we have to improve it.
Yeah, absolutely. One final quick question for everyone at home, all the PSG fans. Are you going to go through?
Yeah, for sure. We will try our best, and we'll see how it is. But yes, we are going to go through.
We heard it here first. Brandon, back to you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Joined by PSG's newest recruit in Amar. They've just come off the back of a 1-1 draw against Team Heretics. FOKUS looking to get back into this one. Dancing is DullenMIKE, as he always does this time. He couldn't outsmart the goalkeeper, but that is what DullenMIKE will do, Lisa. Time and time again, he'll get into those areas and it'll just be so unpredictable.
Yeah, we know how good he is with his skill moves, and you're not really sure which one he's going to do. We saw a roulette there, quite a basic skill move, but very, very effective, and you just can't dive in as a defender, and you don't want to do that, especially inside the box, so it's very, very hard to defend. And I mean, you kind of expect a better finish than that. You can't shoot it straight at the goalkeeper from, what, 6 yards out, you would say?
1-0 in this game, still Man City. FOKUS piling on the pressure. It is still 0-0 next door in Ajax against Team Heretics. Zinedine Zidane, deflected shot, goes out for a corner. Let's have a look as it stands right now in this group, because you heard Amar of PSG just briefly talk about it in terms of, yeah, we can get through still. You know, if there's PSG fans that are watching us, Parisians over in France that are backing us on today, of course we can. They are amongst it. They have got a game in hand still. Their next game, of course, they will go and take on a very, very difficult FOKUS clamp. If they can get a result there, Lisa, I mean, they're still very much in it.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think every team is very much in it. You know, let's be honest. One point for PSG and Man City, and then obviously one win, you could say, away is Team Heretics. And you can hear the celebrations behind us there.
And there has just been a huge, huge goal. I don't think a goal. I think a full-time result. Last kick of the game, I think it may have been. FOKUS. Forget about those for a second. Team Heretics have just snatched, I think, 3 points from that game. They've not won a goal. Oh, my days, no way. No way. Hidalgo! And the famous Matias Bernardo celebration comes out. The hips are thrusting. And Team Heretics have just picked up their first win in the table. That is how the table stands now. And just as they've wanted to, they've thrown a spanner in the works and they've made everything really, really interesting now.
Yeah, I literally said they're a win away, and then seconds later they go and score a 93rd minute winner. I mean, crazy.
Well, back to this one. Team Heretics beat Ajax by a goal still. That's the storyline there. Back to this one. FOKUS. 1-0 down to Man City. 15 minutes left to play here. This would not be the star that team owner Elias would have wanted. He's sitting, I should say standing, just behind his team here in London. He'll be over the moon with that though. Corner comes in and FOKUS are level. That's what he would have wanted to see when he came over from Germany to watch his team hit.
I mean, yeah, I was actually wondering why they actually have Zidane on the corner and not have him in the box. Let's be honest, you know, he's very tall, great presence, but when you have the likes of Vieira, Hullet in the midfield to actually score headers, that's the reason you have him on the corners, I guess. It was a great corner. We know corners are very, very good this year. They're not as good as they was before the patch, however, they are still very overpowered, and we saw that there to get them level in this game.
Well, again, that changes the table, because Man City were on 6 points. Now with this current drawing situation, they'll find themselves on 4. And with Team Heretics winning, it doesn't do them any favours whatsoever. Because as it stands, they are back bottom of the table. And Man City will go into the biggest game of the day against Team Heretics in round 3, which won't just be a 3-pointer, Lisa. It'll probably be a 6-pointer in terms of what this will do for the group.
Yeah, it's crazy to think every goal that goes in is the difference between them going 2 places up or going to the bottom of the table. And they definitely need to try and get a goal towards the end of this game to get the 3 points. However, against a side like FOKUS, I feel like you'd be happy getting a draw against them, especially with them being unbeaten in this competition.
Well then, Man City would have heard that roar just about 5 yards to the left of them as Team Heretics snatched a 92nd minute winner to get them their first win in the EA Sports Cup. Surely they'll know that, Lisa, and they'll be thinking, we need to go out and get a goal here.
Yeah, it'll definitely change the way they play in this game. You would say maybe going forward more, but I feel like they've been dominating this game, to be honest with you. They've had more possession. I think they've even had more shots, to be honest with you, especially that first half. It was all them, but now it just seems to have flipped, and now it's all FOKUS.
Last 10 minutes. Well, FOKUS going out to push for a win, although look for that unbeaten streak to continue in a draw. I mean, a draw still would do. They'll be on 11 points from 15. It's not been bad at all of what they've delivered here. Across 5 of their 8 group games, Man City dispossessed them. David Ginola will look to tease his run forward. Shellzz and Ryan, desperate for 3 points, desperate for a way back into this group, as their chances are running out. Corner. You saw FOKUS score from a corner about 10 minutes ago. Can Musti and DullenMIKE do enough defensively to keep the Blue of Manchester out of their goal? 6-foot-plus frame, Thibaut Courtois in the net for FOKUS. Just keep an eye on Cristiano Ronaldo. And Hullet moving around, it goes towards the front post. Not good enough, and they might get caught on the break here. Maybe they will. Long ball forward into R9, here's DullenMIKE, dancing as he will. DullenMIKE still. And that time Cafu stops him in his trap, but that looked dangerous, and they've given possession back again.
Yeah, exactly. We know how good keeping the ball to the 90th minute does, and I think they might do that here, just waiting for that 90th minute to hit and then going forward knowing that if they do lose the ball, it's game over.
Added time to follow. FOKUS with red shirts in the box, numbers in the box. It could be heartbreak for Man City here. Musti tried to be clever, maybe a bit too clever. Last minute for Man City to save the win. Maybe not the passing decision. They might pick up the pieces. No, they can't. Walker's in the box. So another long ball forward, and that will do us between Man City and FOKUS. 1-1 will be the scoreline here. That could change everything in the group stages, as unfortunately Man City only have 2 group games left, Lisa, and they still sit bottom of the pile on 4 points.
Yeah, it's crazy to think today, you know, they've played actually really well. You know, they've got 2 draws. However, they just can't seem to get that win that they really, really need. But however, next game, like you said, Team Heretics, that's a massive game.
What a game this next one will be. Team Heretics, Team of the Season Cup winners against Man City. Man City were great in that game. The press they were doing, Ryan and Shellzz were on point. FOKUS found a way back through. Corners have played a big part this year with the EA Sports Cup, and they proved that again. It does show, though, Lisa, that FOKUS maybe aren't invincible as many did think they were.
Yeah, I think coming into today, I don't think many teams would have thought that they would have even drew against City. However, in the first half, I mean, it was all City, wasn't it? However, second half, it kind of switched a little bit. FOKUS were getting more opportunities, and they, you would say, deserved that corner.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great finish in the end. They got back in the game ever so slightly. On the opposite side, as we said, Team Heretics, 92nd minute winner against AJAX. How are they going to be feeling now? Because they're back in it.
Yeah, they'll definitely be at all-time high, you know, getting that win in the last minute. I mean, it was 1 minute added on, and they obviously scored plus 3 minutes. I mean, AJAX will be very, very annoyed. On the flip side, that's massive for Team Heretics.
Yeah, incredible scenes, as we said. 2 games done and dusted here at the EA Sports Cup. It is still all to play for, as we said. Round 3, we're going to be seeing the likes of Heretics against Manchester City. Still plenty more games here, and as we said, it's only the top 2 that go through in the group stages. I mean, we'll talk more about it later, Lisa, because there's a lot still to unfold. Let's go and speak to one team, though, that just drew that game against FOKUS. Manchester City are joined by Dan Gaskin. I'm interested to hear what they're feeling after that second round.
Thank you so much, guys. And of course, here with both Man City members, Shellzz and Ryan. A tough game for you guys, but still coming so close. I think a point, you would have probably taken that at the start of the day, but of course, you could have won it.
Yeah, I mean, last time we played them was down before we blinked. So, I mean, a 1-1 result is all right, but we need a win. And I'm happy we're playing well. Obviously, I couldn't ask anything more. He's been playing perfect, but we need a win.
And Ryan, I'm taking your job for the day. It was the other way around just a couple of weeks ago. But man, it is great to see you. And of course, a good result again. But what do you think went wrong? Is there anything you could have improved, and is there anything you're going to change going forward?
Conceded the corner. It's FIFA, innit? But I don't have much to say, to be honest. It's like Shellzz said, if we play like that, hopefully the wins hopefully the wins start coming. But yeah, we just keep drawing games. So yeah.
It's just one of those, isn't it? It's a very frustrating experience at times, especially when it comes from a corner as well. But Shellzz, you're saying you're close to that victory. Is it coming? Do you have that belief? Is the confidence there for you guys?
I mean, the confidence is definitely here for me. I think it is for Ryan. I mean, if we go out playing like this, I'm happy with it. But hopefully that win comes closer, and hopefully we can get that second spot, because I think FOKUS are pretty much going through.
And FOKUS have been playing so well. Ryan, of course, they're leading this group at the moment. Do you think they have something a little bit different that maybe some of the other teams don't at the moment?
Nah.
No?
I'm being real. They're good in it, don't get me wrong, but no, they don't.
You guys, you're up there. I believe in you guys. It's great to see a performance like that, and I'm sure the win is coming. Great result. I still think a draw is good, but we'll see whether they can get a victory a little bit later. Let's jump on over to Richard and Mike, see what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Gaskin. Great words there from Shellzz and Ryan. Quick reaction from that interview. Was there anything in there that sort of took your fancy? Any confidence potentially building for City?
I was going to say mixed confidence, but they've kind of been in an unfortunate situation too. You've had 4 draws now, 4 different games. I think they've been winning in all 4 of those matchups, so it starts to sit with you. Every time you score a goal, you start thinking, am I actually going to close it out? Am I going to see this out? I've been in that position before, but it does weigh on you. We talk about at the pro level, the mental side is massive.
No, it certainly is. And just on the other couple of matches, I should say the other match that we saw, the couple of matches in that round, a late winner for Team Heretics. We saw the reaction. Do they also need to start getting reactions like that and getting amped up to play their best FIFA?
Everybody's different, but I felt that reaction. The floor was moving a little bit. I didn't even know that was possible. Today has been pretty low-key, all things considered, but it does show you a little bit of their passion. Maybe the South Americans coming together, or now South Americans moved over to Europeans, but you get the idea. It shows belief for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and belief is the only thing potentially that a couple of these teams have got at this current moment. Well, Mike LaBelle, you were watching one of those particular matches. That featured game between FOKUS and Man City, and you broke down some of the best moments for it. Here's our analysis presented by PlayStation. Mike, what have you got for me this time?
Well, I want to take this where we re-look or give you a little bit more of a close-up with why goalkeeper movement is so important. And this is just textbook here. You've got a lot of space to work with. Goalkeeper scoots early. In this early goalkeeper movement, what it does is it forces your opponent to take an early shot selection. He's going to actually scoot back to the near post, but it's a good way to bait a mistake or a misjudgment from the shot selection, cover more of the goal, so to speak. And we see this used at the pro level again, where they're always going to move the goalkeepers. That's why finishing, you might be sitting at home saying, I could do this, I could take a 1v1. You don't even realize that the goalkeeper's moving so much side to side. They're bringing them out, they're bringing them backwards. You can kind of see on the set pieces as well, the goalkeeper's scooting everywhere. It's just part of the game.
No, it certainly is. And another thing that's part of the game is my always trying to get Matthijs Bonanno on broadcast, and that's what I'm going to do right now.
You did a heart rate?
Yeah, because we're going back to that Heretics matchup. It was a great game. I've been told there's not a lot of highlights, but any excuse to show more of Team Heretics, I'm all here for. Mike, 73rd minute was the opening highlight. What a save that is. That was Ajax taking that strike, and this was the winning goal.
And that was just brilliant, as you saw with that outside of the but Trivella. You got a late corner kick opportunity, a little bit of a resurface. It's a little bit jammy. That's why you had the pop-off. Ruud Gullit comes to the rescue. Instead of galloping through the midfield, this time he's headed on. And you see what it means to the competitors, because it does put them back in the competition. It's got to be said, this group is still wide open.
Yeah, I mean, talking of that group, we're going to have a look at the standings very shortly indeed, but it's wide open with Heretics dropping points to Man City, and also City not picking up those 3 points because they were again in a winning position. Heretics 93rd minute winner against Ajax. There's some big permutations that have just been put into play.
You dropped the permutations
I
line.
certainly did, because that is how the group is standing. Focus on 11. Team Heretics on 7. We've got 2 teams on 6. That's Ajax and PSG. However, 2 games in hand for PSG and Ajax, for Focus respectively. City at the bottom on 4. Mike, thoughts?
I'm not going to speculate on permutations right now, but all of the teams are still in it. No one's been eliminated. In a big matchup here, maybe the key matchup, Heretics is going to be playing against Manchester City. That could be one of those flips that we're talking about.
Yeah, and almost like you've just read the script, because that's where we're going, Mike Lebel. Heretics versus Manchester City will be our featured match. On the other side of the stage, we've got PSG against Focus. That's a great game. PSG, it was a good performance in their opening game against Heretics. Now they're coming potentially to take points off of Focus. Do you think PSG have got what it takes very quickly before we go to break?
I'm more interested to see how Focus rebounds, because remember, they sat out that first match, therefore you're coming in a little bit cold, and now if they're hitting stride, you see some of the skills, some quick movement. Are we going to have that resurgence of what we saw a month ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is it for us on the floor right now. After this break, we've got an absolute cracker. It's the biggest game of Man City's career so far, season so far, career. It's a massive game, that's all you need to know. They're taking on Team Heretics, and it's going to be Mike Lebel and Lisa Manley taking you through it.
Well. I just took a walk from downstairs upstairs. I'm joined, of course, by Lisa Manley, and we have the premier matchup, I would say, here when you're looking at Heretics. And if they win this, it doesn't clinch for them, but it puts them in a commanding position. However, if they drop these points and Man City's able to win, they now climb the ranks significantly. What's the takeaway? Paint the picture with me.
Yeah, I think it's a massive, massive game for Manchester City. Obviously, if they win this game, they go on 7 points, the same as Heretics, which means it'll be a much closer group going into the next game. However, if Heretics get the points, then they'll be on 10, which obviously puts them more up in that second spot.
No, absolutely. It just kind of comes into that nitty gritty. This could be our first, I would say, elimination if it doesn't go for City, kind of building off what you had to say. And then, of course, we start to see the old for Matias and Hidalgo, maybe the rerun of what we saw last year, because we have a big expectation. They were very disappointing, actually, even for their own standard a month ago when they were in action, just not able to score goals, not able to get the job done.
Yeah, I feel like coming into this tournament, I definitely think they would have been the favourites, right? And I mean, they haven't done expectations as we thought they would have. However, there's still a chance to obviously prove them how good they are in this tournament today.
And you see it behind us. You might hear it behind us. We have the countdown that's been initiated, which means the match is coming at us in less than 5 seconds. And this is going to be, again, the decider of all deciders. I can't wait for it. I hope that it opens up early, because it's got to be said, if you're Man City, you kind of have to go for it. You don't have the luxury of being able to wait.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they started really, really good in the last game against probably arguably one of the best in the tournament in FOKUS. And I think they probably deserve to win that game. However, they keep dropping points, don't they, quite late into the game.
FIFA is cruel. There's just no other way around it. At the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, if you don't see out the game, if you make some different errors, you don't get the bounce, whatever it may be, it's not going to work in your favor. And you see early changes being adjusted from kickoff here between the coaches, maybe a little pep talk, making sure everybody's mentally where they need to be. And we have a live update there. You can see in the top right-hand corner. That will change. That will adjust as goals go in, as goals are conceded.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think this game is massive, obviously, for City. If they do lose this game, they are out of the competition, so it's a massive game. And last time these two teams faced each other, it was a 1-1 draw. However, obviously, it was a different patch, different ways of playing, so I'm looking forward to see who gets the first goal in this game.
And we have our opener elsewhere. I heard somebody popping off behind us, but you've got Heretics in the darker kits, and then, of course, Manchester City in those light blue, those baby blue kits. As we're seeing Ruud Gullit becoming more and more present. Scored a huge goal, actually, for Heretics in the previous game. 90th minute, a bit of a fortunate bounce. And they're still working through some of the opening cagey affair. You're trying to see these competitors find that little bit of space, that crease, maybe that first error, that first mistake. It allows them to progress through the midfield into the final attack. And let's actually get a glance at what was conceded, who scored. Here we go. We got PSG versus FOKUS, opening header, and you see that celebration for PSG. Very important. Again, you're setting that tempo, and they can also control their destiny here. And if they're able to take points off FOKUS, it would be major. I'm talking major for their progression throughout this group, because everything's to play for that second position.
Yeah, I feel like coming into this group, I feel like everyone thought that FOKUS would potentially go unbeaten again with how good they were a few weeks ago, and now it's the opposite. You know, the first game they drew, now they're in a losing position. I mean, it will definitely help PSG going up that leaderboard, wouldn't it?
And coming through to the midway stage here of the day, and you've been up here, you've been talking commentary, you're watching the gameplay. What's been maybe the biggest takeaway for you thus far? Because this is kind of into that dynamic portion of the day where things are going to be decided, there's going to be separations made, people decide if they had a good day or a bad day.
Yeah, I think so far City, you know, I've seen a couple of their games so far, and I think they've played really, really well, obviously. They've had 2 draws. I think Marcus is definitely hyping them up and showing them what to do. We've seen quite a lot of pauses in their games, and that's just, you could say mentally him talking to them and saying, listen, you've got this. And they've shown it so far. I mean, they did really, really well against FOKUS, and I think they'll feel a little bit hard done by not getting the 3 points against them. However, this game here, completely massive, and I think it goes down to who gets the first goal. And I think once the first goal goes in, we'll see a few more to follow.
And we've seen already today, and this has been a repeating theme over the course of week by week, corner kicks, set pieces, scoring, conceding, you name it happening. What's the big key on corner kicks this year? Because you've been here for this, you're obviously playing every single week. Tell us the approach to how to score them and maybe how to defend them. What's happening in these 2v2s?
Yeah, I feel like for these corners, we're seeing the pros obviously whip it into the box, the outside the foot. But to defend it, it's quite tough, to be honest with you. You definitely need to lock onto your big players. You need to lock onto Lucio, Gullit, Zidane, Vieira, and try and stop the attacking force of your opponent. And it's quite hard, and that's why they're so OP this year.
Yeah, sometimes it's even the secondary bounce on those corner kicks where maybe it's not the direct whip in, but the way that it falls outside the box, you can resurface or put it back into the mixer. And we've seen that happen a couple times too, where that favorable bounce allows the offensive team to be able to put something together or even to put somebody under pressure. We know how valuable the constant press or those double teams can be in terms of overtaking possession.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw in the last game, we saw Team HERETICS scoring in the last minute with a header as well with Gullit. So You know, that's why these type of players are in your team, the Vieiras, the Hullets, they're so good in the midfield, but they're also good going forward.
And I think they're working through something between this premier matchup. And I think we're going to get a look into the FOKUS PSG game where you just heard a pop-off. You have the equalizer. Pele stepping through, making things happen. Couldn't have more ideal timing. The celebration, one eye open, one eye shut, and the game is on. And again, we've been talking about it a little bit. I don't think a draw does that much for PSG. I'm sure they take it just to break up some of the points, but again, they're fighting for that second place, and you really need a win here to create some degree of separation.
Yeah, exactly. We saw the last game. We had an interview, obviously, with PSG, and they said they're quite confident that they're going to get out of this group. So I feel like this is a must-win for them.
Oh, and Janolo was trying to work it in there. Mbappe takes a bit of a missed touch or a bobble, wasn't able to retain possession. Deep ball, looking for that direct approach. You're going to see that a lot from FOKUS, and you have FOKUS, of course, in the red kits, PSG in more of those beige or off-white kits.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm reading the chat at the moment. A lot of hype in there for FOKUS. A lot of fans of them in the chat, and I'm sure they're happy that we came in at a perfect time when they obviously got that goal.
It might have been the FIFA destiny, so to speak. We haven't seen a lot of new players for maybe the World Cup selections. We're still seeing a bunch of the icons, and if anything, the usage between Zidane and Ruud Gullit has become more of a must, just giving you a little more offense. And it kind of reminds me of the throwback competitive FIFA era where you have Ruud Gullit making such a big difference. Mbappe, outside of the boot, off the crossbar, secondary opportunity, not quite there for it. And you see that setup, the ball roll, the resurface, and then using that Trivela, right player, right angle, right timing, maybe a little bit unlucky to hit the crossbar. I will say after a patch, and I don't know if you feel like this, the post seems to get hit more often.
Yeah, exactly. They've definitely been nerfed, and they're not as good as they were before. However, we do still see them going in, just not as much as they were before. And I feel like from that distance, it's perfect. And unfortunately, they could be a little bit disappointed for it not to go in. However, it's showing good signs that they're able to get a couple more goals in this game, potentially.
And a lot of space for Jarzinho there. Unfortunately, the ball wasn't worth really having that completion. It's a bit misplayed or a bit overshot. If you're PSG here, you probably want to slow down the game a little bit. You can almost feel that FOKUS is probing. A lot of space to work with. Off the chest, R9. Again, Vieira is a center back. It's become a must. Able to intercept and has that big body type that just allows you to cover so much ground as it takes us into halftime. 1-1. And from what we've seen this far, I would say it's a fair result. Thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think it's been a fair result. Obviously, we joined as a goal went in. However, I think in this game so far, I definitely think that it's all to play for. You know, we saw that one opportunity for FOKUS there, and, you know, hit the crossbar, you'd feel a little bit hard done by, wouldn't you, really?
And you can see we're checking back in. Opener here for Mbappe across the body, not quite. Van der Sar gets his hands on it. We have Heretics, we have Manchester City. They're back in action, full-fledged. And remember, this is potentially an elimination game. If Heretics beats Manchester City, it's done and dusted. The dream is no longer alive.
Yeah, and I feel like there'll be a lot of pressure on Manchester City's shoulders, and they need to try and forget about that and just play the way they did against FOKUS, and they'll definitely get a result in this game.
Oh, what a pick out. What an extra pass. R9 cannot miss from there, and that is a disaster for Manchester City. Great penetrating passes to beat the offsides, and then, of course, if you tap it in, you're never going to miss that type of opportunity.
Yeah, obviously, it's so simple to do that, you know, but you got to use it, you know. It's just the extra simple pass across the box, but sometimes most players would just shoot that. However, the composure to pass it across the box to someone in a better position, I mean, look at the group standings now.
Well, there's still a lot of time left for Manchester City, and I would add to that they make it look easy. It's not easy to have those penetrating passes, to know to whip that in with the R1 pass. We have a little more emphasis behind it, and it's going to be a matter of now, can City forge that comeback? Unfortunately for them, they've been scoring those first goals, and then they've been conceding the equalizers, but maybe the narrative's going to shift a little bit in this game, even though they've gone down early.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, in the last game, obviously, they ended up getting that last-minute winner against Ajax. And I think, in my opinion, that will obviously give them the motivation and the belief that they can win against City. On the flip side, City, they've just been getting draws today, and they just need to be able to get that 3 points to get them going.
A lot of space here for the resurface, a little bit dangerous out of the back. I expect Manchester City to go into a higher press, probably earlier than usual, maybe even by halftime, just because you need to forge or force some sort of tempo change or exchange. As you said, the outside of the boot, switch in the pitch. Can you find space, feeding the likes of Pele? And this is where I'm talking about a lot of those double teams need to kick in.
Yeah, I definitely think by half-time they'll start pressing, bit of press after possession loss, and then definitely by the 65th minute, you could say constant pressure. They need to get a goal, and I'm sure they know that as well.
And what formations are you liking for some of the comeback routine if you're looking to create additional havoc but still have some levels of control?
Yeah, I feel like a 4-2-2 is a very good formation going forward. You've got the 2 cams and the strikers, and then defensively you've still got them 2 CDMs covering. So I think it's a great formation going forward and also defending.
What a pick out, the extra header. Ronaldo with an unfortunate touch. Creative play there with that counter attack, really trying to isolate that matchup between your target man and getting a center back in the right time at the right place. All the alignment was there, just unfortunately a bit of a mistouch.
Yeah, and the bounce didn't help them there. It didn't fall to the player that they wanted it to, and you know, potential chance here. It's going to fall to him. Oh, great defending there and sort of the blocks that you need by your centre-backs. But, I mean, it's quite an open game, isn't it? Sort of end-to-end.
And that's got to be good for Manchester City, just because you need to create as many opportunities as possible. Heretics is known as a team that can slow down games. They're able to hold the ball well. Their game management is there. You see an offside trap. Ruud Gullit looking for space, not able to find that space, but you cannot give away the ball that cheaply.
Yeah, and it could go to cost them here. We saw the offside trap, like you mentioned. It's a very good way to stop the attack. But if you do it wrong, we've seen it before where it leaves it open.
It's all about measuring if the risk is worth the benefit on the back end. And again, set pieces here. I'm interested to see if we're going to see Heretics go short or if they're going to have something up their sleeves, because it's often these small margins that put people into positions to separate themselves and give you small competitive advantages. So we see a recycle. We got Pele into space. Ruud Gullit still looking for something central. Not quite a crossing angle. And nothing comes from it.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, this year with free kicks, it's a lot more direct you can go. You know, you can shoot from it, especially how they changed it from this year to last year. You know, we saw, pretty sure in the first week, Fnatic scoring a free kick and could have gone direct there, try and get a goal. But they're in a winning position, and we know they're good at seeing out games, and especially last year.
What have you adjusted with the free kicks this year? Wait for it. R9 goes for a La Croquette to cancel with the pass, doesn't quite complete it, but does draw a corner kick. This would be huge for Manchester City going into halftime. Oh, that's never going to clear the first man.
Yeah, I feel like they seem to be giving away the ball cheaply there. I mean, a great chance from a corner there to score, but I mean, it didn't even reach past the first man, and you need it to. However, on the flip side, Heretics will be happy to get possession of the ball. We know they're good at keeping it and making Man City drag out some players.
Big interception here. Should be the last chance of the half. Also a great way to shift some momentum. Yaya Toure looking for space. Mbappe, you've got runners. R9 always the focal point. Into space. Pele. Cruyff turn, extra pass to R9. Bit of a cancellation there. Fortunate bounce. Got to finish from here. Can you finish from there? Not quite. Van der Sar gets down. And these are the types of chances that we're talking about. Manchester City might not be happy. They're saying they should have had a continuation, but you see the reaction on Shellz's face kind of tells you that they knew that they created the big opportunity, and that's kind of been their storyline, is that they've been there, they've been playing well, but if you're not finishing the 1v1, it does not matter.
Yeah, a great McGeady counsel there to get into the position, but it sort of didn't work, then it worked. And I feel like the touch of Mbappe, it was just too heavy to end up putting it past Van der Sar. And we know how good he is, Van der Sar. He's been in everyone's team in this competition, I'm pretty sure, without a doubt.
And I hear that we have an update from Brandon Smith. He's down there with Resende, giving an update on what's happening with the game.
Thank you very much, Mike. Yes, I'm with one man that's very nervous in this round. AJAX Resende sits out of it. I've got to ask you, what are you hoping for from this round? Because you must be sitting here thinking, if this team wins, if that team wins, we're back in it. What are you hoping for this round?
I would like not think about this now, but it's impossible. Then I think for us it's better if we City win this game and also focus, because then we just need win our games. So that's it.
Well, speaking of your games today, Resende, as well, they've only picked up 1 point from 6. In your next round, you play FOKUS. Sort of a bit of a quick feedback of what you've done today, but more importantly, that FOKUS game is huge for you in your next round.
Yeah, they are playing very well, but I think if we like be focused in our game, we can of course get the victor, and of course we are ready to play, and yeah, that's it. We need to win. No more excuses.
No more excuses. You heard it from this man. He's up against FOKUS next. For now, it's back to you, Michael Lisa.
And nearly, we had what would have been disaster for Manchester City. A lot of space, a couple step overs. The final finish getting blocked, last ditch, last minute. We have Pele, again, looking for that recycle, top of the box. Mbappe, great pick out. Space to work with, back post. Is there a finish? Not quite. Van der Sar off his line. That has been a trend. Oh, can he rebuttal? Goes for a green time, maybe slight hesitation there. Surprise from R9. Again, not able to convert. And I was just going to ask you, Lisa, the game's got to open up, surely, because you have to see Manchester City go for it, but you don't want to see Heretics score if you're coming in as a City fan. It might be all she wrote.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be that. And we're seeing a corner routine that they seems like they've practiced, but yet again didn't beat the first man.
Looking for the back post, kind of ends up lobbing it into Ruud Gullit. Again, we see this happen a lot from corner kicks. If you don't score directly, sometimes that second pass, that knockdown, the friendly bounce, it can get to turning a moment that looked like it wouldn't have success into a goal scoring opportunity. And you see Heretics here looking for additional space, and they're just trying to slow the game a little bit.
They seem to be trying to do that long ball forward to the likes of Gullit and R9. However, they've got to try and get something here.
And I heard a pop-off behind us, which means a goal must have been scored. The question is who scored that goal? PSG working outside of the boot. That Elastico, beautiful finish there. It also puts them up 2-1 against FOKUS.
Yeah, and I spoke about how good the reverse Elastico is, especially if you do the dead stop before it. It's so quick, and we've seen it there and done it so perfectly against FOKUS. What a goal that was.
Ruud Gullit, beautiful skill. Got to finish there. Almost does too much, but it's gorgeous after the roulette into the corner. Pele, hope is there for Manchester City. And you see that work on the edge of the box, talking about mental, hands to the head. Both players are dialed, game on.
Game on indeed, and a great roulette there to get him into a great position and a great finish. I felt like he might have done a bit too much there, but in the end it was a great finish, and I'm sure they can get maybe a bit of momentum from this.
Big takeaway, Pele with a lot of space. Can you find the runner? Whips in across. It's a good idea, doesn't quite connect. Van der Sar again off his line, but you do feel a bit of a momentum shift. And I thought the same as you, Lisa, that roulette might have been a little bit extra. They already had the quick turn, but it worked out for them. They got the equalizer. And remember, at the pro level, everybody's trying to almost outthink that opponent. They know they need extra benefits. R9, can he find space? Does find space. Pele, looking for the extra pass. Again, with that new skill, a lot of space to work with. Pulls it back, big block. Can't be a penalty. Van der Sar, sure hands. Dangerous times. My hands are sweaty. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the sweat right now.
Yeah, I feel like every time these two teams go forward, they're deadly, and I feel like they're going to make something out of it, but obviously we know how good Van der Sar is, and now it's time for Man City to try and get that all-important chance that they need.
And what have been the big key skill moves that we've been seeing in action here when we look at the pro level?
I think today in this competition, definitely the roulette. I've seen 2 goals made from that. The reverse Elastico as well. Potential chance.
It's got to be a goal. Has to be a goal.
Penalty.
It's not a goal. Is it a penalty kick to the spot? I'd like to see that on a VAR if we can get that confirmed somewhere. It looked like the chance was made, then the chance was lost, and the chance was made. This would be huge. This could be the moment. R9 from the spot. Van der Sar, top corner, best corner, doesn't move. Instantly, pause has been cued for Manchester City, and in the 68th minute, they're now going to have to push everyone forward. Expect that constant pressure that you mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think there will be a bit of constant pressure. I saw them obviously taking a little clip. Looking back at what happened, I think, to be honest with you, it was they tried to block it, and then it moved on to someone else, and obviously they took him out. But yeah, I mean, they'll be feeling a little bit hard done by there. However, I feel like you always have to stay middle. You know, you don't want to get dinked, do you, in a competition? You know, your dignity, you want to keep it. So I think, you know, that's a massive goal for Team Heretics. On the flip side, I think constant pressure is going to be on the horizon.
And I did watch this through. I did a little bit of a rewind on my own live stream as we've had this pause. It's been cued. I think it was a penalty kick. Maybe unlucky in some ways because it looked as if it was a mistimed slide tackle that maybe they already thought they were going to be on the secondary switch. Didn't happen for them, but either way, the legs were taken out. And you see the top right-hand corner again. FOKUS currently on 11 points because they're losing against
or they, excuse me, I just got in on the back end. They lost. FOKUS lost against PSG, which is huge because we thought they were safe, but I don't know that 11 points now is safe. Just as things are playing out, it depends what happens, of course, to close out the day. But you have a FOKUS on 11, Heretics on 10, assuming that they win this game. You got PSG knocking on the door, ready to go. And then you also have AJAX, who's not out of the competition. However, we will say this, if Manchester City is not able to get some points on the board, preferably, and I think at this point you need a win, in fact, to put themselves back into the combo a little bit, they will be eliminated going into round number 4.
Yeah, this is a must-win game for them, and we know there could be a few goals within the next 20 minutes in-game, so it's not over yet. You know, we've seen a couple of substitutions coming on. Ginola coming on. I think, you know, Alwarian is a very, very good substitutions to use this year. The new card in the game, you know, how quick he is as well.
And after the last patch, we're seeing less and less of Ginola. I just think players are looking for more of that explosive type, and they're replacing some of those lengthy options.
Yeah, exactly, and I've actually lucky enough to actually pack Alwarian, and he's a very, very good card. He's explosive, he's got that quick pace, he's able to outpace the likes of Van Dijk in the back, you know, and Lucio even, so we're going to definitely see different types of players being used now that the patch has been upon us.
What a pick out. Thought he was onside, I guess not quite. And what you're seeing now as well, if you're looking at Heretics, is they're sitting a little bit deeper. They're not going to pressure as much. And it just makes it where the time is working against you if you're a Manchester City fan.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like in the pause they made their left backs and right backs stay back while attacking. And we're going to see them just try to keep the ball. They know that in this winning position, it sees them in a great position to get out of this group. So they're not really going to go for anything.
Oh, that's unlucky, Cafu, to have such a relaxed yet imperfect touch. Takes it out of play. Mbappe with the ball roll here. Looking for a second ball roll. And you can just tell that Heretics is looking to make sure that they don't make any major mistakes. Also, a draw for Heretics isn't the worst thing. I mean, they definitely prefer a win. It puts them in a much better position in the group. But they're still adding points into the overall scenario. You got Ginola here into space. Is he going to attack? Pulls it back. Mbappe again, top of the box, probably looking for the Trivela angle. Beautiful dribbling, and the finish not quite. Again, Van der Sar acting big, looking big, feeling big, makes another clutch save, and it keeps Manchester City's dreams and hopes alive.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, what a save that was. That's why you have Van der Sar in goal. He's around, I think he's like 6'5", 6'6". That's why people use him. You know, 1v1 situations, he can make himself big, and what a ball that was.
Picture perfect, and again, it allows you to wind down the clock just slightly, and you can go forward if you want. Ginola, lovely turn. Extra pass to Mbappe, nearly offside, not quite. The lob to Ruud. It has to be a goal, it's not! How does he not convert from there? Take it down, hit the volley, goes for the header, picks out a corner. It does not matter against Van der Sar.
Wow, what a massive opportunity that was there. I feel like it's the same as you. I feel like he just needed to hit that on the volley. There was no need to header that, and even if he did header it, maybe near post, you could say, to beat Van der Sar. You're never going to beat him in that position, and they'll feel a little bit hard done by, to be honest with you.
Oh, big takeaway, though, and you can tell that Manchester City's rushing. A lot of options, again, available here. Looking to have some of that game management, maybe look at that additional pass. Mbappe was definitely cutting into space, edge of the box. Cafu, Zidane, and after you see this tactical adjustment from Manchester City, it just looks like their gameplay is not nearly as fluid. They don't have as many ping-pong passes. The tempo's shifted. They're looking for a lot of these deep balls, but you still have to have certain levels of build-up in FIFA. It just doesn't reward you for rushing. Doesn't matter, defensive, offensive end. And you got to say, with a couple minutes left, this is going to be a wrap. Mbappe into space, looking for runners. Might find David Ginola. It does indeed. Is he going to pull it back? Are they going for one more? Big takeaway there from Mr. Hernandez, the clearance, and that's going to wrap it up. So we've got a win for Heretics and also a win for PSG.
Yeah, and what a round, obviously. I feel for Manchester City, I don't think they played really bad in this competition. You know, we saw them get 2 draws and a loss there. I just feel like the first time they played 4 weeks ago, they just wasn't at their best, and that's ultimately cost them this week.
And they know it. They've had the chances both weeks now where they were in the right places at the right times. They were leading key matchups, and they weren't able to get the job done. This wasn't one of those situations. They had to come from behind, and they battled against Matias Bonanno and Hidalgo, who really got themselves back into the competition. They're looking like the team Heretics that we've kind of built up, and then also give Shellzz and Ryan a pat on the back. It's difficult. These are the best players all around the world, the best 2v2 teams.
it's always going to come down to these fine margins. And every single matchup that's been in action today, we're saying the same things. Fantastic save here. Should have made that judgment there. You're overthinking a little bit. Oh, that's a bad defensive step. We're breaking down the smallest of details.
I mean, yeah, you definitely got to take your chances, don't you? But they just did that. I mean, I think they played a lot better than what they did 4 weeks ago. However, it wasn't to be. I think it was just too hard to climb, the mountain to climb that they had. And unfortunately for them, they are out of the competition. And I mean, I feel like I think every game they've played, they've actually been a goal up other than the game we just saw, and they just wasn't able to do it.
Absolutely, and that's kind of been their Achilles heel, is a lot of the finishing and being able to close out those games. But that's how FIFA works. It could be a cruel, matchup here and there. But we do have an interview with a team that's definitely in better spirits. We've got Brandon with PSG.
Thank you very much, Mike. And yes, a team that are in incredible spirits right now after they've just beat FOKUS, who are, you could say, the chart toppers in this group. We have got the captain of the team, Nkantee, and Frank, who will be translating this interview from PSG. The first question's got to be, what result against FOKUS, the first team to take them down in the tournament? How are you feeling?
Vous êtes la première équipe à faire tomber FOKUS. Ça a été une grosse victoire. Comment vous ressentez ça maintenant?
Bah, franchement, on a fait un super match. On est très contents. C'est vrai qu'on aurait pu mieux faire défensivement, mais on a fait un très gros match. Et puis on verra les 2 prochains matchs.
It was a great game for us, and they didn't be as good as they want in defense, but they will play 2 other games and be better to win this.
2 more big games left as well against 2 footballing giants. What's the pressure that comes with playing for PSG? I saw Mbappé scored the winner for you. That must always be nice. But what's that pressure like playing for PSG?
C'est quoi, en gros, est-ce que tu ressens de la pression du fait de jouer pour le PSG? On voit que c'est Mbappé qui a marqué le but de la victoire. Quelle pression vient avec le fait de représenter cette équipe?
Bah, c'est sûr qu'on représente avec Amar le plus grand club en France, donc ça fout forcément une pression. Après, on peut voir qu'on joue Manchester City, à Ajax ou même d'autres clubs. Donc forcément, on voit qu'il y a les meilleurs clubs. Donc forcément, la pression redescend un peu. Et oui, on marque à la 85e avec Mbappé et ça fait toujours plaisir de marquer avec Kylian.
There is some pressure because they play with Hamar for the biggest club in France. So there is some pressure, but they play against Manchester City, Ajax, so there is a lot of big club here. And the pressure feels a bit down. But they score with Mbappé, so they are very happy with this.
Yeah, what a goal as well. 85th minute it was. Last question from me before I let you go. 2 more big games with your team at Amar new this year. How confident are you that you can get 6 points from 6 and get yourself out of this group?
Alors, il va rester 2 derniers gros matchs. Comment vous les sentez avec Amar? Il y a 6 points à aller chercher. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez que vous allez faire?
Franchement, on se sent bien après avoir gagné ce match très important contre FOKUS. Là, on va juste jouer notre jeu, faire ce qu'on sait faire et puis essayer d'aller accrocher ces 2 victoires contre City et contre Ajax.
So he says that they feel great after this huge win and they will play the game and follow the plan and they will go to win these 2 last games.
Amazing stuff. Well, thank you very much to Nkantee and Frank. Can PSG get 6 more points? Well, they could, and it would get them through. But for now, it's over to Rich and Mike before we jump into the 4th round of action.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Excellent work with the interview. Interesting to hear the thoughts of PSG as they've got 2 massive games ahead of them to try and solidify their place into the knockouts. Mike, you've just made the walk from the commentary booth, which is about 20 yards away.
I was going to say, we're making it seem like it's a long walk. He pointed out.
Down
it's
to the
a very
floor.
short walk. Yeah.
Talk to me, because you've just seen a really potentially tournament-changing performance in front of you in round 3.
You just want me to talk about Heretics.
I do,
and
yeah.
Matthias Bonanno.
I do, yeah.
That's what the setup is here. We understand your narrative. He's close to your heart. It's going to be close to my heart if we keep touching hearts. But it was impressive. It's been impressive. They got a late goal earlier. They got the job done there. They were able to get the opener there, but then they battled back for the winner. And they're looking more themselves. They're getting those slim margins. And they have that champion pedigree. You can't deny it. They're not going to be easy to beat. They're not going to go out quietly. And they're starting to yell. They're starting to pop off. The energy is kind of electric.
Do you think that form potentially is on an incline for Team Heretics at the moment? There were a few chances at the end of the game as well to go 4, maybe 3-4, 5-0.
There's definitely an upward swing of momentum and confidence. I like that you did that. Yep. I'm a terrible golfer. I don't know if that was good or bad. You could tell us in the chat.
Great form.
But but you can feel that there's something oozing out of them a little bit. I wouldn't say they're playing that much differently. They just look a little more decisive going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the other side of it, you've got a team potentially going downhill.
Not potentially, for sure, based on what we saw a few weeks ago.
In focus, it's not been a great day so far. They've got a really, really big game coming up, but we'll talk about the match that we've just seen. That was against PSG. They took the lead, PSG, but Focus did bounce back, Mike.
And you see the importance of those corner kicks again. Pele, timed green, not going to miss from there. You got the rebuttal. You see the pop off. The energy again in the room is shifting a little bit. Corner kick, we know how dangerous, and Van der Sar has been making save on save on save. And you have maybe an uncharacteristic but a huge mistake here. And again, I don't know what's the deal with the goalkeepers. They're the best reactions I've ever seen. I love this goal. The outside of the boot, that little elastico, the 5-star skill, a shimmy and a shake and a finish into the top corner. That is something special. It's spectacular. It's phenomenal. It's a big moment.
No, it certainly is. I mean, the celebration as well to go with it. They knew how big that performance was. Whenever there is adulation, unfortunately, there is devastation on the other side of it. We have to talk.
A lot of wordplay here.
Okay. Thank you very much about Heretics and Manchester City, because City, with that result, are now eliminated from the tournament. But they still could play a pivotal role in the future matchups. That is the group standings as it currently stands. Focus stand top on 11, played 6. Heretics have played 7. They've got 10 points. PSG, 6 games played, 9 points. Ajax, 6 games played, 6 points. Man City at the bottom, 7 games at 4 points. One question for you, Mike LaBelle. Would you rather have games in hand or points in the bank?
Based on how this group has been going, Heretics has to be happy to have. They have 1 game in hand, but they got themselves up to 10 points. When you started today, we had a lot of question marks, and we didn't really have a bunch of answers. I feel like they've definitely put themselves out there, and they're looking more like themselves, which puts you on pressure playing if you're the other teams. Because you're saying they're not going to drop points. They've already earned up to this. Now we have to do that. We have to replicate, or we're going home early.
And you've also seen Heretics in the past win in this exact studio. They've been to the top of the mountain and potentially looking to ascend it yet again. PSG Esports against Man City. Heretics waiting in the wings. And Ajax versus Focus Clan. PSG versus Manchester City. One of your featured matchups alongside Ajax and Focus Clan. I simply cannot wait for this next round of fixtures. It's going to be fantastic. As you said, Man City can still play party pooper. Do you think they will do so?
They still look focused. And sometimes when you're in positions like this and there is an elimination and you've already been knocked out of the competition, you play a little looser, and sometimes that's better. You're not as tense. You're not as uptight. Goals happen. Things work that didn't work before.
Well, our featured matchup, it's going to be Focus Clan against Ajax. Focus not looking the best today. Ajax, on the other hand, they know what they have to do. 2 wins, 6 points, 12 will be their total, and that will be qualification through to the knockouts. Don't go anywhere, because this is going to be unbelievable.
Welcome back, everyone, to the EA Sports Cup. And finally, I'm reunited with the one and only Mike LaBelle. Mike, it's a pleasure to be alongside you once more for what is going to be such an important matchup in this group. We've got Focus versus Ajax. If Focus beat Ajax, Ajax go home.
I thought you were going to go in for a hug.
I was tempted.
Yeah,
I didn't know if the broadcast was ready. Are we okay with a hug? I think we'll do it because, come on, it's good to be back.
I apologize if we had any background mic there for everybody that's in the chat. But the real important matchup here, we have Ajax with Resende and PHzin. We've got DullenMIKE and Musty. And I think it's safe to say, from an observation standpoint, neither of these guys have really been in their best form today.
I think that coming into today, and from what I'd heard, from what I'd seen, it was all about FOKUS, how good DullenMIKE's playing, how good FOKUS have been, how FOKUS are going to be a shoo-in for the next stage. However, it has been a complete change of that question. Now we're wondering, are FOKUS good enough? Are FOKUS going to actually make it that far? Ajax are here to spoil the party.
No doubt about it, and this, at least if we're looking at the point tallying and everything that's happening in the group, this means more for Ajax if they're able to get a result. Because in theory, and I don't want to manifest anything that's not positivity, but if DullenMIKE and Musty drop points here, they would still be in a position to go through.
And of course, that was highlights of the last time they met, where FOKUS were on their top form, but it doesn't seem like today they're playing in the same kind of style. Maybe they can refine that form. They definitely need to find something here, Mike. Is there anything you've noticed that perhaps is going wrong for FOKUS so far today?
They've rushed a little bit of their attack, and something that we gave them all these compliments is how they were scoring goals with ease, some of the details in the final third. I don't think they've been as good in that same area, and sometimes it's harder to get into the run of play. Remember, they had off that first round.
Well, 3 more seconds and we'll be into this game, and what an important one it is going to be. A huge chance for Ajax to disrupt this group. They need wins, they need 3 points. However, for FOKUS, they can spoil Ajax's day. They can send them home, and they can return to the glory they once had just a few weeks ago. Of course, from left to right, we're going to be seeing Ajax. From right to left is going to be FOKUS, and already an early chance here for Pele. Where do you go from here, though? Back to Hullet. Tries to cut inside, does get a shot away, but it's not going to go any further than the defense. Still an opportunity, though. Oh, great turn. Pele still has the ball. Cutback's there, but goes for goal. And already there's pressure, but FOKUS just about survive.
Talk about setting a certain energy for round 4. And I gotta say, I didn't prep you with this, but every time that I'm up here, it's always the 4th matchup, and there's always a bunch of goals. So we're gonna see something happen here. They're shaking and baking. They're going forward, a lot of offense, a lot of bodies flying forward, and that also means a lot of space for FOKUS to utilize and take advantage in some of those counterattacks.
I mean, I'll tell you what, even though we've had a lot of draws today, the games have been so intense. What a week for me to come back to FIFA Esports. I've been loving what I've been seeing. But for FOKUS, I'm waiting to see the FOKUS that I've been hearing about, that I've been watching online. I want to see them return to what they were doing just a few weeks ago. Maybe the cut inside was there, but not quite, as Ajax defending well, tracking well.
And clever footwork down the wing, just looking for that extra pass. The best way to beat the goalkeeper, and it's not even a sure thing from what we've seen today, is to pass it around him and tap it home. But they've been so reactive, even on errors and mistakes, and even from close instances within the box. The 6-yard box isn't safe. Not against Van der Sar.
Definitely not safe from the saves I've seen Van der Sar make today. Has been unreal. And I think I'll definitely be purchasing that foot item when I get home. Anyway, corner here. And a chance maybe for Ajax to do something. Ooh. Does go into the mix there. It is dangerous, but Cafu, under control by DullenMIKE, is going to bring this away. I've heard so much about DullenMIKE, his skill moves, so I'm excited to see him pull out the stops in this game. Because FOKUS Clan, they need it. They need to show that they can make it, and they will progress further. They just need to be getting victories on the board now. Can't afford any more losses, can't afford any more draws.
And we should bring up, there was a new patch in the game, and maybe for FOKUS, they haven't adjusted as quickly as they did with the initial drop.
Good chance, and it's gonna be struck home! FOKUS Clan again going 1-0 down, and Ajax doing it all already.
And what a finish. Full power, top corner, near post. Is a slight hesitation just to see if the goalkeeper's gonna wiggle. Is he gonna move? And he does move!
He gives him the wiggles, and unfortunately, no goalkeeper movement was able to stop it. Pele smashes that one home. Incredible finish in the end, but now FOKUS need to focus up. I know that's probably an analogy that's used far too often for this team, but they cannot afford to give Ajax too much confidence in this game.
And that's also why you see the likes of PHzin and Resende hit that near post, is because they saw the goalkeeper scoot just ever so slightly inside. They read the goalkeeper movement, and that's why that opened up. Most of the time, that near post would not be an option.
Well, a great confidence builder, as I said, for Ajax. They had a tough start to today, but they have slowly shown that they are still a team who is very much a threat in this group. It's been such a tight group. Everyone was thinking FOKUS were going to be guaranteed going through, but suddenly the script has changed, or has it? Pele now with a chance on the other side. Captivea is going to be able to intercept. And there is live standings for you. 7 games played for 4 of our teams. Of course, Man City, we know what happens to them. They are guaranteed to be out, but there is still a chance for FOKUS, PSG, Heretics, and Ajax.
And I didn't think it was possible, Dan, but if FOKUS drops points in this game, it kind of leaves the door wide open going to that final matchup. We thought that everyone would be battling for second place, and that's not necessarily going to be the situation.
Yeah, FOKUS were the talk of the town. It was the biggest points difference we'd seen in a group between first place and last place, but suddenly it's all becoming very tight here. I'm really excited to see whether FOKUS can reply or whether Ajax can continue in the ascendancy here.
And shout out to the chat. We see a bunch of Ajax fans. We see a lot of FOKUS fans. Overwhelming support. Very active in the chat right now.
Well, I know a lot of people have been watching and waiting for FOKUS to be on their screens. And I mean, they've had plenty of FOKUS, but maybe not the results they were expecting. And I'm really wondering what FOKUS are going to do differently here. They've applied pressure at fantastic times. They have had a couple of opportunities, but Ajax look dangerous going forward. Again, it's another over-the-top through ball to Pele. Has to beat the man first. DullenMIKE defending. Doesn't manage to get a little foot in. Ronaldo, unfortunately, will be tackled this time by DullenMIKE controlling Huller.
And clever footwork, great coaching as well from Ajax. They're really attacking that wing with Pele. He has been the main target man, the release, overlapping runs, a lot of space, a lot of pace, and then he's trying to work it back to the inside.
Mistake there, though, trying to force the pass. Does allow an opportunity here for Ajax. Mbappe dinks one in. Surely it's going to go, but no, Courtois, quick off his line.
What does he block that with? Is it offsides?
Must have been offside anyway, but Courtois showing his length and showing just what an important keeper it is.
This man has nunchucks. These goalkeepers have never been so athletic.
They've been insane today. Maybe there was something out in those patch notes that I hadn't seen, because it seems like these goalkeepers are on one. Pele now. Plenty of options. I like what Ajax are doing. They're showing options. They're using dummy runs as well to try and force the FOKUS defense away from certain players. Unfortunately, though, that one runs out of play.
Just ran out of real estate, but it's a smart tactic. We haven't seen it used nearly enough for the last 4 or 5 weeks, where you have players that they have no intention of passing to. It's only to deliberately draw some of those midfielders or defenders out of position just to open up lanes.
Got to try and do something. You've got to try and surprise your opponents. Speaking of surprises, Pele got so much room. It was roulette after roulette, but the turns just didn't quite work out on that occasion.
Got to say that was crispy, though. The extra step overs, attacking the space. You give me a little 360 with the roulette, I feel a certain type of way.
Wasn't enough to get a shot at goal, though, and I think that's what FOKUS need. However, going forward again, Mbappe. Great challenge again, DullenMIKE controlling these defenders. Vieira's been incredible, by the way, dropping as a centre-back. Of course, we saw Van Dijk maybe out of favour since the new patch.
The 3 big shifts or big changes, I would say, for players that have improved. You might say, Mike, all these guys are so high-rated, but at least from watching, detailing, observing, and analyzing, it's been Ruud Gullit is a monster now in the midfield. Not that he wasn't active before. Pele looks quicker than ever before. And then what Vieira's kind of been able to do and dictate from that center-back position.
Maybe one last chance then, with 1 minute remaining added on time. Again, it's the step-overs to try and beat the man, but not going to be enough. 45 minutes done, half-time on the clock, but it is Ajax who are leading 1-0. This is not what was on the script, Mike LaBelle.
And maybe Vieira heard me talking on the virtual pitch, because he is making stop after stop after stop. And you don't need to make a lot of changes here if you're DullenMIKE and Musty. A lot of chances were created. They're in the right place constantly, but they're missing that extra skill or maybe the extra pass. I think they're going for skills that maybe did work pre-patch, but we're seeing a lot of different tackles and steps and double teams that they're not breaking through.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes since the patch, and it is going to change the play style, but I think there's someone down on the floor. Brandon is with one of the players, and let's see what they have to say.
All the stress right now. It's Coach Edu of Team Heretics. His team have just won back-to-back games here in the EA Sports Cup, and very much they could be finding their way through in the top 2 in this group. Edu, be honest, how's the feeling right now in Team Heretics' camp?
No, it's a bit difficult, but as we depend on us, if we win, we're qualified, so hopefully we do it next game against FOKUS.
And right now you're playing FOKUS in the last game of play today. They're losing right now. Surely that gives you confidence off the back of your 2 wins to go and win this one.
Yeah, I think FIFA sometimes is about days. For example, first week we were bad, now we're playing better, so we're confident. We think we are going to win the game.
Well, I'll let him get back and watch the game because he must be nervous. Let's get back underway with you, Dan and Mike.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Of course, yeah, sorry, not a player. He's going to be a coach there, but some wise words and also some fighting talk there coming out from them.
A player coach or a coach player, whatever you want to word it as. And you heard him say this, and I'm going to repeat it because it's super important. The last matchup would be FOKUS, or is FOKUS taking on HERETICS. And I bring that up because that's kind of win or go home for both those teams. So FOKUS needs points now. You don't want to go into that matchup knowing that that is the only reality to the situation, is that you have to win the last game.
Of course, FOKUS started today with 10 points, but still could potentially be eliminated from this group. As I've said many a time, no one would have expected this.
I didn't think it was possible, Dan. One win is all they've needed, just one.
One win is all it takes, and maybe they can still get it here. 57 minutes on the clock. It's not impossible right now, but as we've seen, one leg of FIFA, it can be very difficult to get back in these games, especially in 2v2s. And now a chance again for Ajax to drive here. Mbappe will go through the middle. Nice showing out on the right from Jarzinho, though, and it's going to be into Mbappe. But again, Vieira there to clean up the pieces, as he's done for so long, but it's wasteful from FOKUS Clan. Maybe just being a little bit too quick at trying to get that ball up the wing. And the more possession that Ajax have here, the more likely we're going to see a victory for Ajax, and the more likely this group gets spiced up. Still an opportunity, but great defending once more.
And it's very important, if you're on FOKUS end and you're talking to the coaching, you don't need to rush here. Even if they're able to get a draw, it's like a lot of space to work with, it still puts them in a position where they're in an advantageous role.
Oh, we need to see something here. Mbappe into Pele. Pull it now. Could turn. We'll go for the step over, but Lucio defends like his group life depended on it, and it blooming well does. I can tell you that for free. Over the top through ball does not work. And there are still going to be opportunities here for FOKUS.
And if we had a replay, maybe a little bit of an analysis session, I would have loved to see a heel-to-heel in that position.
Yeah.
I thought that he had him turn, just needed a little bit of a burst of pace. Even if he went for the new heel-to-ball roll, just to give you a little bit something in the box, a little more funk to it, where at least if you beat that defender, you're going to get a shot off. And that's what you need around that 6-yard box again.
Sometimes it's about trying to be unpredictable. Your opponents are going to expect certain skill moves, and they would have played each other, of course, previously, just a few weeks ago. It was 4-1 that time, and now Ajax are making up for that loss, but this could be the chance that maybe FOKUS were searching for, but great defense again from Lucio. The new upgrade, the World Cup version of the hero, shows why he's a hero in this game.
It's unbelievable. And you got to say, if you're Ajax, you're happy about this pause, have a little break, talk about it for a moment, feel blessed from the FIFA gods. That is a bread and butter, extra money. Bet on that every single day, every single time of the week. You had the layoff, just had to tap it home. To be fair, maybe the goalkeeper would have saved it. With the way that we've been seeing things today, you might say these games are low scoring, but if you're watching, there are so many chances being created. You just can't beat them.
I mean, it's been action-packed. It's had everything, this group.
I can't believe this
how
stage.
it
I can't believe, Dan, tell them, Dan.
FOKUS still top with 11 points, but PSG and HERETICS both with 10. Still within a chance of qualifying. Ajax, 9 points, still with the chance of qualifying as we get back underway. 20 minutes left on the clock for FOKUS to try and disrupt things and try and solidify themselves at the top. A victory would be huge here for Ajax, but of course, if FOKUS were to somehow turn this around, it would mean Ajax go home if they lose. But at the moment, it's all looking good, especially with Mbappe making that run, but it's a dummy. Unfortunately, though, Yaya Toure offside.
It's got to be said, Vieira is tremendous. He's kind of been one of those players now. We talked about this Ruud Gullit if you date back to FIFA 17 or FIFA 18. You pass it around him. You just avoid him at all costs. No one's been able to beat Vieira.
After these changes, I was kind of wondering who was going to step up, who was going to be the difference maker, but there he is.
He hears me talking, Dan.
The Arsenal legend, the French legend in Patrick Vieira, and proving why he is such a staple in any iteration of FIFA. Good run on the left-hand side is being made. But instead, again, it's used as a dummy. Ajax opt to go outright. Cafu into David Ginola now. Opportunity just to go into space, but Lucio on the other side has been such a key factor in defense as well, but that's going to be a mistake. Ginola tries to play the ball through, but FOKUS just about survived.
It's got to, again, you have to be going in constant pressure now. I'm expecting double teams. There's the pause has been cued. The competitors can't hear us. We should say we're not far away from these guys. We don't know if they're listening to the stream as it's going out. You can feel the intensity. There's not a lot of celebration, not a lot of wordplay, not very talkative. All these matches mean so much. And just to reiterate, the following game, Game 5, FOKUS goes up against HERETICS. You got PSG and Ajax that could still be in the mix as well, depending on these final results. Obviously, Manchester City's been eliminated, but they'd love to upset someone's birthday party. I don't know if that's the saying, but they want to disrupt it,
anything
ruin
that
it,
you say
affect
it, any sort of party.
Negatively impact that party.
The party poopers is maybe what you were looking for. But maybe the party poppers could come out if we see Ajax get a victory here and really keep their chances of top 2 alive. For FOKUS, they would have started their day so confident, thinking it was going to be a cakewalk to be able to get through this group. But suddenly everyone else has come alive, and now they have 10 minutes to try and get some sort of result here. R9 can lead the charge perhaps, but again, he is denied very quickly by Lucio, but regains possession. Eusebio! Again, the leg of Van der Sar is too much. And FOKUS still applying the pressure. Zinedine Zidane. No! It's going to be close, but it's not close enough. He thought that could be it. A slight breather now from the corner. Again, it's strategical in 2v2. It's about where you place your biggest man. Hullet is often the target. But this time it's going to be Vieira! Oh!
He would have had it covered anyway. This Van der Sar is unstoppable. Can I buy that variation that they're using?
That was green timed. You thought it was for sure going in, but still, here comes FOKUS, throwing everything in the kitchen sink forward now. Ajax under so much pressure and panicking a little bit defensively. They've got to hold strong, hold strong. And they get a brief moment here where they have to just try and avoid these risky passes. Now, on the counter-attack, can they completely seal the deal here? Or will they opt to maybe play a little bit of time management? Back towards the corner flag. Need some assistance from the fullback, and Nkantee is there. And it does look like Ajax are going to try and run this one down a little bit, but there is space that's opened up. Maybe FOKUS purposely trying to offer up space here so they can win the ball back, but now we get one more chance, Mike.
This is it. Don't have to rush it again. A lot of clock to work with.
Zinedine Zidane plays it into R9. Denied, though, by Cafu. 1 minute of added on time. If they win this ball, though, FOKUS, they do not, and surely it's going to be done now. Ajax with Ginola can just run into space, and unless the referee allows play, which he does not, means Ajax are still alive, and this group has been blown wide open. FOKUS have not guaranteed their way into the top 2 just yet. It's going to go to game number 5 here today. What a result that is from Ajax.
I can't believe it. If you told me that this was a possibility, that FOKUS was not going to go through, which is a real possibility now, I would have bet a house on it. You could have told me anything else. I said, nah, you haven't been watching FIFA lately. You don't know what DullenMIKE and Musty are all about. This is incredible. This is what it's all about. Every game or every last match matters so much tremendously. Even draws can shift things a little bit, and we have a lot of permutations. We should probably sub in Rich at some point. I know that he's the permutation guy.
Master. But, I mean, maybe I feel like I'm a curse now at this point because FOKUS have been playing so well until I turn up. I feel a little bit bad.
They're not happy about seeing you.
But, Mike, I mean, you've got to look at what Ajax did, right? We can always talk about FOKUS maybe not performing, but Ajax on top of their game when they needed to, when the pressure is on. Is there anything you really saw that set them aside from FOKUS in that game?
I really liked their approach play with how they had those overlapping runs with Pele. It was clear that Pele was going to be the target guy for their releases, their outlets, the counterattacks, and it worked. They had 3 good chances. They converted one of them, and then shout out to Van der Sar. I mean, there's no other way to talk about it. He was everywhere.
I mean, goalkeepers, they've been insane. These matches have been mental as well. I think that every match has just been end-to-end action. Yes, okay, there's been draws, but some of the victories that have been had now by these guys really does change the group dynamic. And I have to ask you genuinely, do you see a world where FOKUS Clan does not qualify out of this group, Mike LaBelle?
I just don't think we're done with the whole topsy-turvy and back and forth and the unpredictable. Expect the unexpected going into this last matchup is what I'm trying to say. Because as good as Heretics have been, I don't think that means that FOKUS can't recover here.
It's been so tough for FOKUS because they were just taken down by Ajax. So that means it's the perfect time to speak to them. Brandon's down on the floor with Ajax. Let's see how they're feeling.
Thank you very much for a great cast on that one, Dan and Mike. What a situation we find ourselves in here in Group D. We said the EA Sports Cup was going to be dramatic, and that is exactly what it's been today. And with this team, who've picked up 4 points from 9, it's not bad going, but they are in the race to go and get themselves out of this group. Resende, I'll come to you first. How are you feeling off that massive result against FOKUS?
Yeah, we started slow in this tournament, I mean today, but now I think we are confident for the last game, and was an important victor now, and we're going to do everything for the last victor.
Amazing stuff, and I'm going to have the help of Matt, our translator here, with PHzin. PHzin, are you going through? That's all I've got to say. Are you going through in this last game? You're up against PSG. It's a footballing matchup. It's a huge game. Are you going through?
Uma pergunta só, vocês vão classificar contra o PSG, é duelo de futebol, clássico do futebol europeu, vocês vão classificar?
Sim, como o Resende disse, a gente começou um pouco devagar no campeonato agora, hoje, porque um mês atrás a gente fez grandes jogos e tivemos azar em vários jogos, e contra a HERETICS aconteceu a mesma coisa, mas agora a sorte virou, a gente está concentrado, a gente tem grandes chances de classificar, só depende da gente. Então é isso, a gente vai com tudo ganhar do PSG e, se Deus quiser, classificar.
As Resende mentioned, we had a slow start today. A month ago, we played in some very big games. We were unlucky, but we've turned that luck around. We've had a great victory before, and it's now in our own hands against PSG to qualify from the group.
Well, it certainly is in your own hands, and I'm going to have to ask another question to you, PHzin. What is it about you two that separates you from other duos in FIFA Esports? Because you had that run in the E-Nations last year as Brazilian teammates. What's it about your duo, your friendship, your chemistry that hopefully is going to take you through tonight?
Qual é o diferencial de você como dupla no esportes, que vocês tiveram aquela sequência de vitórias no torneio antigo, assim, o que tem da dinâmica, da química entre vocês que vão levar vocês à classificação hoje à noite?
Eu acho que eu e Resende a gente já nos conhecemos muito bem dentro do jogo, porque no E-Nations treinamos muito bem, fizemos grandes jogos. E eu acho que a gente, a cada dia que passa, a gente tem nos entrosado melhor, entendido um pouco como é cada um, principalmente no mental, eu acho, como cada um se posiciona durante os jogos. E acho que a gente vai se ajudando durante a temporada e tem grandes coisas para acontecer para a gente.
Me and Resende know each other well from the game. We've been working together. We understand each other. We're on sort of we mentally match in that sort of thing. And but day by day we're getting better. We're understanding each other more, and that's really going to help us in this game coming up against PSG.
A massive thank you to translate them out there for getting that insight from PHzin and Resende. All I've got to say is good luck, lads. One massive game against PSG. Will Ajax be finding their way to the knockout stages? We'll have to wait and see. For now, it's over to Richard and Mike.
Thank you very much, Brandon, Resende, PHzin, and also shout out translator Matt. Great job there on the interview. Mike, often we are in this position to hype up the next game. I don't think we need any extra excitement right now because this last round is going to be unbelievable. Before we get to it, we have to go over what just happened in round 4. You were, again, up in the caster's booth and you saw a little bit of a true masterclass performance, would you say, from Ajax? They did what they had to do.
I was up and down. I had all sorts of different emotions. I liked the way they approached the first half, but I will say this, there are a lot of chances for FOKUS. They just aren't hitting those margins, and Van der Sar was incredible.
He was. He was the player of the match. He was the man of the moment.
Hand clap for Van der Sar.
Yeah, well done, Edwin.
And Vieira. Vieira was incredible, too.
It only makes sense, really, doesn't it? Edwin van der Sar for Ajax being one of the best players. I mean,
I didn't write the script.
I did. So let's have a look at some of the best moments from that game. It was an incredible matchup between Ajax and FOKUS Clan. Mike, you watched the game.
Let me review it. I'm ready to go. There's the overlapping run. Beautiful near post finish. Pele steps through it, waits for the goalkeeper to go. I'm not even there. I'm not present for it. How this doesn't turn into a goal. I think it's offside, but Courtois blocks that with what? I don't know. You're watching the same FIFA I'm watching. Mbappe. Here we go. FOKUS. Gonna get the goal. No, sir. Not today. Lucio steps through it. I think the goalkeeper still had it covered. You saw me. He was already diving. What is he diving at? Nobody knows. Van der Sar with the feet. Not a problem. He's got those two. Two of them. Maybe they're extending. I don't know. Zidane. He's working. Not done. Still doing what he's supposed to do. Making the save, being clutch, green time finish, top corner. You see my reaction? Doesn't matter.
You've had enough
it
at this
saved.
point.
It doesn't matter.
You've had enough at this point. You're ready to go on to the next game. It was an outstanding match between Ajax and FOKUS. They picked up the 3 points. Did the Dutch team.
I'm buying Van der Sar today.
He'll not perform like that for you at home.
I don't care. It's happening. The purchase is being made.
On the other side of it, PSG Esports and Man City drew 0-0. And that is the group standings currently. FOKUS Clan played 7, 11 points. PSG played 7, 10 points. Heretics played 7, 10 points. Ajax played 7, 9 points.
And who's playing who, Rich? Tell me who's playing who.
I can tell you who is playing who, Mike LaBelle. It's a Team Heretics
You can't write this better.
versus FOKUS. On the other side, PSG Esports against AFC Ajax. It's a very, very, very simple equation. You win, you go through. If we get draws, I'm going to have to get out the notebook and start looking at the tiebreakers, okay? But
You better pull a notebook out here. You better have a notebook up there. Something. Notebook better come out.
Talk about nerves, talk about pressure.
I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm hot.
This game right now, win to go through. Talk to me.
You don't want to go up against Heretics. They've been incredible today. But I don't doubt the likes of DullenMIKE and Musty being able to recover. They haven't really played bad. They just haven't had those margins. And the other end, Ajax getting emotional. I don't want to go up against them. What you want me to tell you? I'm not sitting on the fence, but I'm not happy with any of the matchups. If I was playing in them, I'm happy to watch. PHzin looking confident in their interview.
Yeah, I mean, look, the match that we're going to be focusing on is FOKUS
We got
Clan.
4 translators on deck.
Against Team Heretics. And I've been on the floor for a lot of today, but for this final round, no. Get me in that caster's booth, get me with Brandon Smith, because we're going to be calling all the action in this final pivotal round. Do not go anywhere.
The EA Sports Cup is presented by PlayStation Tournaments.
Well, welcome back to London. If you have just arrived, do not go anywhere. This man's done everything today. He's even been out the back cooking dinner earlier on, I think. He's done everything here in London. Richard, what a situation we are in right now. When we saw what could happen, and we joked about tiebreakers and whatnot, we're not there yet, but we're nearly there.
I really think that the team that have made this happen is the lack of performance from FOKUS Clan. It was always in the chat down there, in the chat backstage, FOKUS Clan +1. That might not be a predicament right now. That might be something that we imagined that won't come true. It's been a nightmare performance today for FOKUS Clan. If there's one match that you don't want to see, it is Team Heretics in front of you. Matthias Bonanno and Hidalgo.
And the thing that I hate to say as well, Richard, most of the chat today has been full of FOKUS fans, and they can't be too happy with what they have seen so far on display. Here's a flashback of last time where these two teams did play. If you remember the scoreline rightly, it was 0-0. We didn't see a goal, but how on earth FOKUS didn't score at least one, I will never know. They hit the woodwork multiple times. Unbelievable saves from Donnarumma kept them in it. But this time round, it's as simple as it sounds, Rich. 1 point from 9 so far from FOKUS. It just has not been good enough. Fair play as well to the likes of PSG and Ajax that have just got into it today. They've got into the flow of things. Even Ajax haven't been perfect, 4 points from 9, but it's enough to put them in that race.
And it's also very simple if you're wondering about the permutations, if you're wondering about the potentials. Whoever wins, if you pick up 3 points out of your respective match, you progress. You go through to the knockouts. It's only if there is a draw in either of the games where we potentially start to see those tiebreaker situations coming into play. And don't worry, we'll keep you up to date with the live table and also all of the implications in those matchups as it unfolds. We'll be across everything in this round 5.
Yeah, if we can see that table as the game kicks off, we'll show you it. Let us know, if you have been following this at home, what 2 teams are going to the knockouts. 2 go through. As it stands, as we know, FOKUS and PSG, obviously we've still got games to play here in round 5. Let us know in the Twitch or YouTube chat, wherever you're watching from around the world, what 2 teams are going through. Yes, there are potential tiebreakers, Richard, if we need to go there.
Yeah, there certainly are. This is the tiebreaker format. It's the total points in all matches among the tied teams. It's the goals scored. That is the second stipulation in all matches, specifically among the tied teams. And then we start getting into the goal difference in the head-to-head individual matches over the course of the 2 weeks. Only if the number of tied teams is greater than 2. Don't worry, we'll keep you up to date with it. We can see a lot of FOKUS fans in the chat.
There's one man just there that will be feeling this game ever so slightly. Elias, the owner of this team. He will be not very happy with what he's seen today. 1 point from 9, and I can assure you there'll be a lot of people cheering his team on today. We are ready for round 5 in the EA Sports Cup. What 2 teams will be going through to knockout play in this $250,000 2v2 tournament? You've teed up as simple as you can, Rich. Win, and you're through.
Yeah, I saw a few people saying a draw is enough for FOKUS in this match. It all depends on the other fixture as well, depending on the results, how they go. At the moment, there's a silence among the arena. It won't be like that for much longer.
You couldn't have dreamt of being in this situation in round 5. Everything that we want and more. FOKUS kicking from right to left, of course. Their captain, DullenMIKE, with that blue triangle above his head, and that turquoise green is his teammate Nkantee. They were superb 4 weeks ago, but they just haven't got going this time round in London. 1 point from 9. They were a goal-scoring team that was so hard to beat. This time round, they have lost games and they have been beaten.
They certainly have. Meanwhile, behind us as well, AJAX and PSG not quite kicked off yet. When that does get underway, we will bring you the goals as they go in.
On the flip side, Matthias Bonanno. Oh, wow, this could be special! What a save! Oh, how's that not got in? Still is alive, and that time Musty says yes, please. FOKUS lead by a goal to 0.
Just managed to meander and get his way through that defence. The step over was really nice and crisp inside the box, and then I'll be honest, it was an outrageous, outstanding save from the goalkeeper for Team Heretics, and that is what it does currently with the potential matchups. Yes, PSG and AJAX haven't kicked off yet, so that match isn't on the table.
I think it's just about to start, that one, Richard, between the two. We'll keep you up to date in that football matchup between AJAX and PSG. There could be an instant reply here, though, from a team that have played a lot better today. Here comes Team Heretics. Mbappe, come back, still could be alive. Mbappe once and twice. Cafu just about does his job from right back to centre back. That time stops the duo of Matthias Bonanno and Hidalgo from finding a way through. The team of the season cup champions still saying they are in this tie. Goalkeeper, that was a little bit questionable that time. He needed 2 chances at it, did Courtois.
You just saw Musty when that ball broke off the Heretics attacks. Didn't even try looking for a man, really, just cleared it long. Heretics win the ball back, and Matthias could be in.
Here's Matthias Bonanno just offside. The idea was right. Unfortunately, the timing was just ever so slightly off. If you have just tuned in, this is crunch time. And speaking of crunch time, I think there's been a goal in AJAX. PSG will give you the latest as soon as we have got it. Remember, we do not know who is guaranteed to be through. Yes, on paper, as it stands, it will be FOKUS, and whoever's just scored that goal.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, because there's a potential chance here for Heretics.
Matthias Bonanno finds Hidalgo.
Oh!
De Villa.
Interesting.
And outside the boot finish there. There's been a goal in the other game. Which way has it gone? It looks like it's gone the way of the Dutch side. It's a fortunate bounce back, but they will not care by any means. AJAX lead 7 minutes in.
It's a little bit ugly, isn't it? The bounce falling perfectly to the feet of R9. And that is as it stands currently. Live table shots. FOKUS 14, AJAX 12, PSG on 10, Heretics on 10. So it would be FOKUS Clan and AJAX progressing through.
And they'll be taking on Group A in terms of the 2 teams that will get through. That group has not been concluded as of yet. It will be concluded next week, I believe.
Yep.
Same place, same time here in London. In this very place where you're watching right now. If this has been your first taste of FIFA Esports, well, there's plenty more to come. I have to say, Heretics have been on the front foot ever since they conceded. We said there was 2 games underway. This is the current situation in both. Obviously, we'll get the correct feed for you on that PSG AJAX game.
Look, I'm not complaining. I get 2 times the amount of Heretics in my life and FOKUS Clan. What a game.
Musty the goal scorer of the first for FOKUS. There you go, that's the correct scoreline. Time green from Hullet there, took a deflection on the way through. 19 minutes is on the clock in PSG v Ajax, as we said. Ajax currently up by a goal to nil.
Just casting my eye here on that PSG and Ajax matchup. Well, there could be a chance on the left-hand side, Brandon.
It's Musti. Looking for the cutback, of course. You can hear the game on the left-hand side of your screen. That is our main game in FOKUS. Still Team HERETICS against FOKUS. We are just keeping an eye on both screens because it means so much at this stage. Only 2 can go through in this group.
HERETICS.
Come right down to the very wire. Matthias Banano. Into his teammate Hidalgo of Yaya Toure. Try their best to find a way through, but Zinedine Zidane only gets so far. He does get fouled, and he'll be into the book. Well, I know Ronaldo.
Could potentially be worse. Just a yellow card. He went in from behind. Sometimes you see reds given for that. It's a little bit risky. But it shows the intent of trying to win the ball back as quick as humanly possible.
Over in the other game, PSG may feel hard done by. They conceded quite a fortunate goal. Foul over in that game as well. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening. Here's an attack on the left-hand side of your screen for HERETICS. HERETICS round the corner, could be in. Pele, good feed. Hidalgo with a give. Well played. Zinedine Zidane. DullenMIKE, superb defending.
Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity. I was keeping an eye on the right-hand side because PSG came forward with numbers, and that chance isn't over yet. Jairzinho striking. Van der Sar right behind it.
Last 4 minutes, could be a chance, could be 2 for FOKUS. It's DullenMIKE with R9. Scoop rock. I don't know what he's doing around the goalkeeper. Went for a scoop turn. Thought about trying to bring another player into the attack. Couldn't quite happen, but for a split second there, Rich, I thought we were going to be looking at a 2-0 half-time result for FOKUS.
Yeah, the ball or scoop turn, really nice and clean, concise, trying to just create the space. Chance for PSG. Good tackle once again at the back for Ajax. They're defending in numbers, and they're defending very well at the moment.
Last chance for Team HERETICS here. Matthias Banano and Hidalgo. Hidalgo in possession of Pele. This is great feet from the Brazilian. Even better defended from another Brazilian in Nkantee. Half-time there. That's 1-0 still. As it stands, FOKUS are going through, and they are 45 minutes away from knockout FIFA at the EA Sports Cup. Let's follow this one as it comes towards its closing stages in the first half. As it stands, Ajax lead by a goal to nil.
But it's been all PSG from what we've seen, probably from the 25th minute onwards. The Parisians driving forward with numbers, trying to force the errors out of this Ajax defence. However, they're standing strong, and look, the counter-attack could be a very, very viable way to win this game.
Nkantee finds Pele. Vieira under pressure for PSG, but just about doing enough. As we said, this is round 5. Only 2 teams will go through to the knockout stages. It is constantly changing here. For being just one leg, anything really can happen. That one's back underway now. FOKUS against Team HERETICS. That's in the second half now. As we said, both times these played 4 weeks ago, both games ended in a draw. No surprise, it's been tight again this time round. HERETICS building nicely. Hullet. Again, Cafu seems like he's been the main defender at the back there for FOKUS.
He's been outstanding, has Cafu. As soon as that World Cup version of the item was introduced into the accounts last week, he has been the star man in these teams.
Just to confirm half-time in that other game as well, Richard. Ajax, as you saw, go into half-time up by a goal. PSG may have been on top, but they still are hunting for a way back into the tie. This is nice. Mbappe. Matthias Banano.
Couldn't quite generate the power on the strike. After the first skill move, he did the heel-to-heel variation. Just got held up a little bit. I didn't know if there was potential strike there, but they might have spotted the goalkeeper movement and could potentially play on that on the next chance they get.
FOKUS driving forward, loads of numbers. It's Hullet, cut back. Well played, Lucio.
This game is so end-to-end. You cannot take your eyes off Team HERETICS versus FOKUS Clan at the moment.
As that game just kicks off there, you see the player cam, just how locked in both these 2 teams are. This is their last kick at this tournament. for a lot of these teams, Rich, after this, depending on how they get on in other 2v2 tournaments, it might be the end of their 2v2 journey.
Heavy, heavy touch from PSG on the right-hand side of your screen. It opens up a great chance for Ajax. Electing to play the possession and the long game. The Brazilian duo.
Tell you what, Rich, it's hard to commentate on 2 games at once, but we're...
I'm trying to cast my eye on over both games, but probably more looking forward at the PSG Esports versus Ajax.
Oh my God, that's a terrible pass. Rash from Mbappe, referee plays up. As it stands again, just to give you the headlines, Focus and Ajax are currently going through. Heretics.
Even though they've had a lot of chances, and even though they've had a lot of pressure, they've struggled to create clear-cut one-on-one opportunities. Have Heretics with 28 minutes left to play. They will find themselves out of the tournament. As you can see, that live table is up to date with every single shot and goal as it goes in.
Into the pause men we are on that left side game. 55 minutes as this game just catches up. They're both going to be finishing at pretty much the same time.
I think both games as well will catch fire very, very shortly, as they know.
It's Mbappe for PSG! Raises the roof for the Parisians! Who else would it be than that man, Kylian Mbappe, on the biggest of stages with the biggest of goals?
I said they'd catch fire, both of these 2 games, and potentially it's only going to take one goal that then sends shockwaves into the other match parallel to it. PSG go through with that goal. They go to 11 points. Ajax drop out of the top 2. It's a must-win game for Ajax. With the current standings, PSG's a point is good enough.
Focus can make it 2. Here's Pele! Oh, he just misses. Golden opportunity for a 2-goal lead. You said the game was going to catch fire, Rich. PSG might be on for a winner. Mbappe, surely not.
Oh, what a save from Van der Sar. He was outstanding in the last game, and they're going to need to call on him right now, but everything is falling PSG's way.
It is hard to know where to look right now. As it stands, as you can see, Focus PSG through that Mbappe goal could be the difference of them stopping Ajax in the top 2. 70 minutes on that game on the left. Here's Focus looking for another goal. R9.
PSG.
DullenMIKE and Musti trying to find their way through. R9, brilliant feed. PSG are superb. What a turnaround. What a finish.
I just saw them out the corner of my eye. He was dancing inside the box as Nkantee beats his chest.
Well, on the flip side is Team Heretics now. Capdevia, can he find a way through? Maybe he can. Eusebio well played again. Defensively, they have been superb, and every single time it's been Musti.
The ball just fell to Hidalgo. He couldn't quite get it out of his feet. But Heretics will come forward with black and gold shirts once again. Focus stands strong as it stands. 14, Focus, 13, PSG. Ajax and Heretics drop out of the top 2.
Nervy ending here to the team of the season cut. What a group this has been. Is he onside? Yes, he is. Pele, DullenMIKE in possession, looking to probably take minutes out of the game. We've got knockout FIFA on the line here. And let's have a breather.
Breathe.
Let's just have...
We've got a pause in both games.
A breather.
What an outstanding display we have seen so far. It breaks over because we're back underway with PSG. They're leading 2-1 against Ajax currently. Ajax have to throw numbers forward, and they have to do it now.
PSG. Nkantee, it's Pele. Who's got all the confidence in the world, the captain of this PSG team. Re-signed again this year.
Sin.
Tell you what, Ajax could be through with Rich. Towards the back post! Just an inch off the boot of Mbappe, which would have broke PSG fans' hearts.
The smallest of margins separating Ajax and a 2-2 scoreline. A draw would still be enough for PSG to progress through. However, they'll be looking over to their right because
that's perfect.
are out as it stands.
Well, there's the storyline for you. DullenMIKE says it's time to calm down. Well, if they wanted to make it any more difficult for themselves, they've done exactly that today. Have focus.
And look, pardon the pun, they focused up when it matters most. In the final game, when they had to get a result, they are 2-0 up with only 10 minutes left to play.
As it stands, team of the season cup winners last year out of the tournament. There will be no 2v2 defending champions at all in the process.
Could make 3.
They could make it worse. It's a cheeky chip. Of course, that was DullenMIKE that tried that.
I think we cast our attention over to that right-hand side, because Ajax, they've got 12 minutes to save their tournament. 2 goals is what they need.
And if they do, Rich, it will get very loud in that booth from the 2 Brazilians.
Should cut it back into an area there was no one really there. Hull it with a
win.
huge tackle. But again, it seems like the ball keeps on falling to a white shirt and a PSG shirt.
Hang on a minute, Heretics with a chance. Right feet.
PSG are through.
And as that happens, PSG solidify themselves in the knockout stages. Some would argue an underdog coming into this tournament. Focus to make it 3. Pele will! And just like that, Group D done and dusted. Focus and PSG will be on their way to the knockout stages in January.
2 really, really emphatic performances. When the light shone brightest, PSG and Heretics, should I say, PSG and Focus, both clutching up. That will leave Heretics out.
3-0.
And Ajax.
What a group though, Rich. We couldn't have asked for anything better for an ending here in our second week of knockout action. Added time, we are pretty much done and dusted in the game on the left-hand side as they look for goal number 4. Will the referee play it? DullenMIKE might try something fancy here. Up steps Pele. Course he does. Round the corner, 4-0. And that will be GG's in the chat. And for everyone watching from Germany, over to their team manager they go. They're into the knockout stages.
Game, set and match. Focus. 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 14 points will send themselves through as top seed from Group D.
But why did it take them so long to get going?
Maybe they needed the pressure of the final round.
Maybe that's exactly what they need. Look,
what a performance from PSG, by the way.
What a day they came into today with only 1 win next to their name, 5 points on the board. Since then, they've completely changed it round. 8 points from 12.
Unbeaten today, 2 wins, 2 draws. And I heard there was a little bit of a rumour going around from a lot of the players who I speak to and a couple of the players who are here today who said, no, PSG are really, really competitive. They've been unbelievable in practice over the last couple of weeks. And it shows.
And I'll hold my hands up. I think they're a bit of an underdog in terms of...
Didn't tip them.
No one really tipped them. No one gave them the credit they deserve. PSG are through, and we will see them again in January. Nkantee and Amar. Huge performance. And no surprise, as we said, that one man in particular, Kylian Mbappe, stepped up when he needed to. Ajax out, Man City out, and Team Heretics, team of the season cup winners, out of the tournament.
What a group, though. What a group. PSG Esports advance to the knockout bracket later in the new year. January 16th, you'll see the Parisians back in action. I just have to say, though, this group has been fireworks. It's really ignited as this day has got on because we came into the day and it was the story, focus, +1. It's been far from that.
That's all you need to do with your screen there. A team that changed their roster this year. They went for a taste of Brazil. They went for a taste of the Nations Cup winners in PHzin and Resende. Unfortunately, in terms of 2v2 FIFA, that is the end of the road here. Only 2 could go through. And as we said, it's PSG and Focus that have found their way into the knockout stages. They will be joining Richard, Fnatic and Riders in the knockout bracket. They won't play against each other just yet, but who knows what will happen in that bracket. They'll play the 2 teams to get themselves out of Group A, which is happening next week. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen there, come back again next week, because we only hope it can end just as well as that, if not better.
Last week were maybe a bit of an anticlimactic finish. It was all wrapped up before round 5. Today, the complete opposite. Drama until the last kick, and this is what we wanted from these group standings. This is what we expected, and boy, has it delivered here in Group D.
Yeah, incredible scenes, Richard. What a group, honestly. What a group. We said if you like football, watch this group. There was 3 football giants in it. They just made it difficult for themselves, folks, didn't they? But then when they needed to turn up, when the pressure was on them, they were like, okay, let's turn up. And they scored 4 goals. Yes, Team Heretics went for the game in moments, but 4 goals still. What a way to end.
And talk about sort of ending the day on top, a truly outstanding performance from FOKUS, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them back in the bracket in the new year.
Well, I think it's time to give you a little bit of a rest, Richard. I'm sure you've got another job to do somewhere in a minute. That is it from the commentary booth here in, you could argue, week 6 of the EA Sports Cup. What a week it was. Our very own Dan Gaskin is joined by one man who'll be very disappointed that his team crashes out of the tournament.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Of course, this is the toughest part of my job, an interview here with Edu, of course, from Heretics after a disappointing loss. Commiserations, of course. Anything you feel like went wrong for you guys today?
Yeah, I think that we have improved a lot from what was week 1, and today we managed to get 7 points, and until the last game we could be in. But for me, the thing was getting 3 points first week, because we knew that we could be out today, and that's what happened. But next step is Champions League on weekend, so we want to qualify, and that's the next target.
And of course, some very talented players who are quite rightly upset at the moment. But do you think they can bounce back from this? Do you think they'll learn anything from this experience?
Yeah, sure. I think we did first week. We knew that we had a lot of things to change, and that's what we already did. But I think that we'll learn from this. We'll have a lot of ambition for the rest of the season.
And then, I mean, it's obviously tough when you do take a loss like this, but of course there's been so much support and backing for Heretics. Is there anyone you'd like to thank? Anyone like you at home that's been watching, family, friends, or anything like that?
Yeah, obviously the club that always bet for us, and just for them, for the guys that have done an incredible effort, for the manager Ivan, that he's always with us.
And how important of a role do you play with this team? I mean, I saw you before the games, you were getting involved, you were watching games back. Do these guys trust you? Do they trust your ability going forward?
Yeah, I think they did, and it helps that we live together and we have a lot of confidence in each other. And yeah, I think they do, and I think that my job is good for them, I think. That hopefully helps for the rest of the season.
And then, I mean, the tournament as a whole, is there any favourites for you? Do you think have you got any predictions as to who you think is going to win the whole thing?
I think Leipzig is one of the strongest duos with Umut, the recent world champion, and Anders, that is an upcoming star.
Yeah, I mean, there's some incredible players in this tournament. It is very disappointing to see you guys exit the tournament as well. For you personally now, having to move on to the Champions League, as you were talking about, what does preparation look like for you personally as a coach?
Yeah, I think we have been playing a lot of 1v1 and 2v2 these 2 weeks, and I think we'll need to watch about the key players that maybe qualify, so if we face them in the last rounds, we know what they do, and we just gotta keep grinding like for the week and do the work on Sunday and Saturday.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the interview. Of course, we'll go back over. We've got Richard, and of course, we're going to have an amazing time chatting to the guys. The winners are going to be over there.
Thank you very much, Dan, and a great interview there with Edu. It's never easy to interview someone who's just crashed out of the tournament, but spoke very graciously there, did Edu. Mike LaBelle, I feel a long way away from you.
It's probably better. We've been, having an exchange as a distance.
We still got the energy because that last round was immense. Just talk to me very quickly about that last round of games.
Well, I didn't think it was possible. That'd probably be the first question I have for you, actually. And I would start there. Did you think this was possible coming into today? I already thought you were done, dusted. No matter what, you're going to push through. And then as it was going on, I was saying, oh, no, maybe not.
Yeah, to be honest, going into this, we knew we had 10 points out of possible 12. And like at home, I was looking, I was talking to Musti, and we said like we need 1 win out of 4 to maybe even seal the first place. And obviously that it ends like this. Nobody, none of us would have hoped it, but still we're glad that we're first and we were never in doubt.
Amar, we spoke earlier, just over there, and you said we're going to go through. Yeah. How does it feel to be in that knockout bracket?
I don't know what to say because of when I said that we will go through, we get too much remainings, and on the last round we had to win because if they won the game, they will be good throughout the tournament. But we took a goal very, very quickly, and at halftime it was 1-0, but we knew that if you win, we will 100% be on the next stage of the tournament. So we just played our game, we scored 3 goals, and after that, like I said before, we were told the final stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, we're going to have a look at some of the best moments from that last round. We had so many to choose from. These are the selected highlights that we have gone for. The PSG match against Ajax. Didn't start very well for PSG, Mike LaBelle, but they turned it around.
Doesn't matter how you start, it's about how you finish. You see some opportunities being created, you're probing for those chances. Mbappe breaking through, across the body. You see the eruption, the emotion. That was scary. I was getting shook. I had to leave the room. It was getting kind of crazy in here. The pop-offs were on point. You can see, again, opportunity on opportunity. If there's ever been something that we're talking about today, as you see the double step over, scissors, cross the body, fist in hand, and that's right across from your opponents. And I'd love to know how you're feeling in that moment, because you not only created a comeback, you added some more insult to injury, but you've been able to advance via, of course, this late game, late stage, amazing, bringing it all back, and I just feel like you guys were releasing the entire day of energy.
Yeah, for sure. It's our first LAN event, especially together as a duo for Esports. So it was a little bit stressful in the beginning, and today we came here, like, it's probably, maybe it can be our last LAN tournament before the end of the year, or I don't know if next year I will be able to play at this level. So we just say we have to enjoy the moment, and as the last game was the decisive one, no stress, just patient, and we just enjoyed it. And when we won, and still like until now I don't know how to express my feelings. Like I'm confused, but I'm very happy, and can't wait to see you for the next part of the tournament.
Well, that's like me on a daily basis, confused but happy. Dullen, you had an outstanding end to the day. It wasn't the best of days and matches up to round 5, but we got some of your best moments in that final matchup here. Talk me through them, because you ended the day really, really well against Heretics.
Yeah, the thing is for us, we didn't necessarily play bad in the first 3 games, but it just the luck wasn't on our side. And when we played this game, I immediately knew, like when we scored the first goal, that the luck is on our side, and it was just our game to lose. And in the end, we managed to pull away with the win.
Yeah, and you brought a bit of a coaching staff out here. There's multiple people. I've seen like secondary live streams. The chat's been erupting. Do you know all this is happening? Do you feel those extra maybe pressures or people that are kind of in your circle?
Yeah, obviously we know that Eli is here, our CEO, and it's great to have him here. And we know that he has a huge fan base. So in the chat, like everybody's spamming FOKUS. And obviously we are really grateful for the support, and hopefully we can pay it back in January.
Well, there are your full-time results from round 5. Team Heretics 0. FOKUS 4, PSG Esports 3, AFC Ajax 1. Guys, just quick one from you, Dullen, as we're going to see the table. Did you know sort of what you had to do, just win to go through? Were you even looking at the other match? Were you paying attention at all to that other game?
Yeah, the thing is I always calculate these things through, and so I knew when they are drawing, then we still can lose to advance because of the head-to-head and stuff like that. But obviously,
he had the permutations.
The permutations were there. You can see how it finished right there. FOKUS Clan 14 points, PSG Esports 13, Heretics, Ajax and City unfortunately can't do enough this time around at the EA Sports Cup and will crash out of the tournament. Amar, quick question for you. Who do you want to play in the next round? Obviously, it's going to be some from Group A. You've got some great teams in there, potentially looking at maybe MGCF, maybe looking towards XL, Ninjas in Pajamas. Is there anyone in particular that you want to play?
Not anyone in particular, because we're unscared about anyone, and we will play our game. But I want to play Ninja in Pajamas because we play a lot in 1v1 against them every time since 2 years, since FIFA 21, and it will be a pleasure to play against them or LAN 2, so we'll see who's the better.
Same question. We got to redirect that as well. Dullen, you know players or teams you could match up against. Is there anyone that's kind of drawing your eye that you want that matchup?
Yeah, obviously Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pajamas have 2 really good players, especially in 1v1. But for us, obviously today we didn't bring our A game, but we're certain that we can pull it back in January, and we don't care who we get as an opponent because we're going through anyway.
Dullen, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw last week. We had Tex right here. He said that FOKUS were one of the best teams to play against. Who do you think is the toughest game if you were to get to the final, or in your words, when you get to the final, who's the toughest matchup for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely Rebels with Umut and Anders. Especially this year, they both show in 1v1 that they are extraordinarily good. And in 2v2, they can also manage to pull it together. And so for me, those are the favorites.
Well, it's one of my favourite times of the week right now. It's the goal of the day, okay? And this isn't chosen by me. It's not chosen by any of these guys. It's chosen by that man on the end. So if it's a bad goal, he's the man to blame.
Yeah,
Michael Bell.
I don't like when he does shows. Let me look at the goals of the week. He doesn't put that on me as the build-up. Number 5, here we go. We're breaking into space. We got to start out with something baseline. See it pulled back here with Pele, scoring on the near post. It's a good place to get us situated. Number 4, now we're moving in the right direction. Mbappe, beautiful pick out here. It's more about that pass that's so penetrating, then you get a tap in. Huge for Heretics as they were mounting that comeback. At that midway point, we've got Mbappe starting to work with the step overs. Extra pass, near post, finish. Don't move the goalkeeper, top corner, the best corner. You get a nod of approval from both the pros. Ronaldo, I love this Elastico. Proud moments here, I'm sure, from PSG. You remember that matchup. And then last but not least, even though Man City's going home, I love the combination of the skill moves. And you see Pele tuck it home on the near post. Van der Sar can't stop.
Guys, do you think that was the best goal of the day? What that from Man City, or do we see something better today? Best goal of the day, Man City?
Yeah, probably. We didn't score too many goals, and half of our goals were after corners, so I'm not surprised to not see us here. But yeah, I would say it was a good goal. It's also the one from PSG against us to make it 2-1 was also a good goal.
Yeah, we saw some fantastic moments today, Mike, and I really think that the cream has rose to the top, shall we say, in this group. It was very competitive.
Creme de la creme is what we're looking for.
Look, whatever you want, I'm dairy free. I really think that the two teams that have gone through into that knockout, one of these two sides could be lifting the EA Sports Cup. Agree?
I'm here for it. I'm happy to watch it. I like the confidence that Mr. Mike has been showing. Can barely talk here, but it's the end of the show. But I don't like when you put me on the spot. You're making me sweat a little bit. There's a lot of teams that'll go through. I think we could have a potential winner here. Is that good enough for you?
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll tell you who else will be sweating. That's Group A, because they're in action next week, and you're going to be finding out who you're playing against, guys, as well. From Group A, SBQR in action, Excel, Tom and Gorilla. We've got Complexity Gaming, who are really, really solid in their opening round of fixtures. MGCF, as well as Team Hullet Ninjas in Pajamas. Mike, quick comment from you on those Group A fixtures.
I hope it's another day like today.
Yeah.
That is really what I'm looking for. Last week, the last match didn't mean a lot. This week, the last match was everything. Perfect. Run that back.
We're going to run this back this time, same place, next week as well. From myself, Mike LaBelle. These two will be watching at home, finding out who they will be facing. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a blast. We've had fun. We hope you have as well. And we'll see you same place, same time, 6 p.m. next week. Have a good night.